Good evening, everybody. Welcome into North American Knockout Bracket. It is time to figure out who the hell's going on tomorrow because we got a lot of teams down here and a lot to talk about. Welcome into the broadcast. I'm Spaceman. That is Fox Nally. And this is the Knockout Bracket. We've already got a couple of teams that have played some matches. Let's talk about it. Built by Gamers, 3-1 win over No One Shoots Back. Team Canada, 3-1 win over Trash Bros. The former Season 4 Grand Champions Trash Bros are no longer in the running for Winners Round 2. They will be dropping down to Losers Round 1, where they will play No One Shoots Back for a chance to make it to Losers Finals. Winners Round 2 is Built by Gamers versus Team Canada. The winner of this matchup moves to tomorrow to play with UIU and Lore Gaming. Losers Round 1 will decide who goes to the Losers Finals. Loser of Built by Gamers Team Canada drops down to play the winner of Losers Round 1, and then the winner of that goes on to meet everybody else tomorrow. So that is kind of how everything works. Welcome to the bracket. It's a bit chaotic, but that's what we love here in Call of Duty. Welcome into Challenger Season 5. This is Week 3, which means it's the end. Allie, we have made it to the end of all these seasons. There have been 5 of them. I counted, and now we are in the final day, and tomorrow we will decide a champion. Talk to me about the bracket. Talk to me about Built by Gamers, Team Canada. What are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. It's been fantastic watching all the changes these teams have gone through in the NA region and all the swaps and seeing some players getting pulled up to the league and just watching them improve overall as players in our challenger scene. It's been amazing, and now that's coming to a close. It's sad, but it's really exciting to see the fruits of all the labors of all these players.
Fox, we got a lot of good matches tonight. First of all, you look so handsome. Second of all, Built by Gamers consistently across the board, brother. Talk to me about this team, because when we looked at the pro point standing and kind of the standings as a whole, Built by Gamers are the most consistent team in North America, and that's thanks to the amount of roster changes everyone else has done. Does that consistency and staying true to the process, will this pay off for them this season? Ooh. Well, don't worry. We're going to get Fox's answer real quick. Allie, I'm going to ask you about the other team in this matchup, Team Canada. We've looked at players like Exotic and Dav Patty, and here's the layout of the series. Talk to me about what their impact can be, knowing that Raid and Standoff are back-to-back to open it up.
This is something that I have brought up many times, is that Exotic, I feel like, has been so good in this game. And as a veteran, he just kind of needed his home. And on this Team Canada roster, I feel like he's found his home, being surrounded by the likes of Diamond Con and Dave Patty. I think that was the help, that he really needed, having Royalty as well, of, a former teammate. That's just... This roster, it makes me happy for them, and to see them make it this far and to push the limits as far as making so many changes, it means a lot.
It certainly does. And again, this is the map layout for the series. Miami at Game 5, Garrison double backed up in the middle, Standoff and Raid to open it up. I am so excited to get into this series. Once we get all the players in the lobby, of course, we will start it off, but this is for a trip to the playoffs tomorrow. This is a knockout bracket, and the playoff bracket begins in less than 24 hours. Fox, looking at everything across the board, and if I can remember correctly, what I just asked you 30 seconds ago, Built by Gamers, consistency, right? That is the number one storyline going in here, right? Regardless of the players' placings and the team's placings. Yes, they were runner-ups to Trash Bros last season, but talking about them here, they have stayed consistent for 4 seasons now. Will that pay off this year?
I think it will. I think this is where it will pay off. I know that we've been following them, trying to follow these guys and see if they're going to get the chip rather than ending within the top 4, top 3. Sure. And looking at their performance just recently, they were 2-2 at the start of last week, at the top of last week. They ended up being able to 3-1 Team Canada with a stellar performance coming from the players Pentagram and GodRx. So I'm really looking forward to see what they do again in this matchup.
Yeah, I remember what Pentagram was doing. That boy was on something different. But Allie,
he really was.
He was frying, but
just unreal.
That's what scares me about this team, because we know what they're capable of doing, right? We know what this team's ceiling can be. They have just struggled to kind of meet the moment a lot of times, and sometimes it looks like they overthink things. They can't get out of their own way, right? So looking at the roster as a whole, Allie, I know you're huge fans of this team, and you're huge fans of the players and kind of the core dynamic that's been brought here with a minimal roster changes throughout the year. Looking at Built by Gamers, do you think that they're going to put all the pieces together in Stage 5, and do you think that this is the time to win it? Because come playoffs and come eventual playoffs in a couple weeks, really, that's when we have everyone coming together for the massive prize. At that point, if you don't have things fundamentally down proof, and if you can't close it out in Stage 5, I don't know if they're going to make it that deep in the bracket. What are your thoughts or predictions? Look at them here in this stage.
It's a lot less of if they're gonna, put the pieces together. It's more so, they have to. At this point,
Okay.
they have to make it work. This late, 6 months into the game, making the decision to stick with your roster and just try to work out the kinks and, just make it work.
Sure.
At this point, you have to be the best you could possibly be when it comes to these final moments. So I feel like the BBG that we're going to see is going to be the final form. It's going to be the final form of BBG. It's going to be the ceiling that unfortunately that they have to hit eventually because we are closing in on the season.
Yeah, we certainly are, and there's been a lot of roster changes. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
There's been so many roster changes in North America, and that could not be more prevalent than when we look at Team Canada, right? Like Exotic and Royalty together have been through so many different iterations of their rosters. You got Diamondcon, who was originally in the league, right? Comes down New York Subliners Academy, bounces around a couple of times, finds himself on this team. Dav Patty, who Triumph History Hall of Fame guy last season, who closed out the championship with Fellow and Standy. Dab Patty, who I think is one of the most underrated and overlooked talents in North America, and he finds himself on this roster. Now they're clicking, but it always seemed that Team Canada were struggling with the fundamentals, but once they did that, they were one of the best teams in North America. And even watching last week some of their control game, it still looked a little bit shaky, but Exotic is an absolute freak when he makes the right plays. I go into this matchup, Fox, and I wonder, does Team Canada have enough firepower to be able to match up with Pentagram and Pander and GodderX? What are you thinking looking at just the matchup as a whole? Who are you picking?
So I think that Team Canada certainly has the firepower to do it. I mean, we've seen players like Royalty and we've seen players like Diamondcon do some absolutely absurd things in Call of Duty. But the question is, will they bring it to the table here? It's going to be such a difficult matchup going against a well-polished BBG roster. With lots and lots of investment from the organization behind them, this BBG roster should feel comfortable and confident coming into their matches today.
Yeah, it's really going to be tough going into this because, again, you only got really 3 games to get through your opponent. You move on to tomorrow's playoff bracket. We all know what this means for Built by Gamers. They were runner-ups in Season 4. They lost to Trash Bros. Trash Bros, by the way, just dropped down to the lower bracket. So Built by Gamers are on a bit of a revenge tour here. They've gotten so close to getting the chip so many times. They just haven't been able to get over that last speed bump. We talk about Europe a lot with Elevate and Orgless, and we say the Elevate, your speed bump is Orgless. If you get past them, you're winning the whole thing. It really feels like Built by Gamers are just 1 or 2 clicks away from taking home the championship, but they got to get through Team Canada first.
That they do. We're looking at Team Canada right now as they fight their way up through the driveway. Pentagram pushing them right back against the wall. GodderX cutting off this entire line of sight. But take a look at the jump shots from Dav Patty. We talked about him quite a bit because he's this constantly overlooked AR player, I feel, in the Challenger Series. We see him do some ridiculous things in respawn game modes, especially on the map Garrison. So should we get there within our tournament today or tomorrow, I'm really looking forward to see what he contributes in that regard. 2 kills going in favor of Team Canada as they continue to pour through Laundry. The Hills now move to Kitchen, and they're going to have a Built by Gamers defense to get through, and Kismet's in the front line for it.
Plug to the back, clearing it out. Kismet drops. That's 3 dead. And once more, we look at a nice clean break for BBG, and we also look at these nice, clean, crispy feeds. Again, the observing team is responsible for that. It's Shane and Kyle on the 6, and they're the ones giving you all this delicious POV to cast over. Thank you, boys, so much for doing your job, because we couldn't do ours without you doing yours. 61-4, we continue on. And talking about some of the best ARs in North America, a lot of times you get Glow Frosty, you get Sib, you get Gravity. Dav Patty should be up in that conversation as well, and while he hasn't maybe had the greatest of Elite Series seasons, he is still a North American champion. He is still a Challengers champion. And he had an impressive year, not only last year, but this year as well. He's been a very steady hand for a lot of rosters he's been on, and I'm excited to watch him in this matchup specifically. They're going to need his prowess here. They're down by about 70 points. We've rotated out to P3. Now in the back of Lambo, you use those ARs to cut down the subs, pushing driveway, and Royalty's doing everything he can to make it easier.
That's right, Royalty in the front line, and Jim here as he's watching his team still mow down the competition without much of his contribution. They were able to come through and support him, let him regain, recharge, and get some more hill time on the board, because as you saw, they have a pretty steep deficit to work their way through from. Built by Gamers has had a wonderful start to this raid hardpoint. We're taking a look at the scoreboard and seeing GodderX at 8-3. He's currently paving the way for his team to move into the hardpoint. We see a team kill come in as well, but that's not going to stop Built by Gamers from mounting up the hardpoint here. 50 seconds left as we look at the scrap time that also will go to Built by Gamers. Rotating to the opposite side of the map, Team Canada already in position around basketball court. Pool is locked down as well. So Built by Gamers, where do we go from here? What's the next call, and how's this rotation looking? One going through mid into kitchen to support the players coming through laundry. It's going to be a real tough battle with Team Canada already clocking their positions.
And so many times we talk about Exotic finding massive kills, whether it's 1, 2, or 3, he's always big at finding at least 2, right? To kind of open up whether it's a hill, a rotation, or lockdown spawns in the back. And again, Exotic winning a gunfight over Pentagram to hold on to those spawns at top steps. More importantly, protect his players in the hill. It's what's given him this early 20-point advantage. Now we see a slide in as Pentagram's able to find one, turns on the second. Dab Patty quickly met into the dirt, and Pentagram will be inside 10-4. GodRx watching money window, but one player slipped by, and one more slipped right through kitchen. GodRx has to be careful, because if he is unsure about where these players are coming from, they're going to get the hill right back in. Exotic walks down. He's met by Kismet. Kismet inside. And even though these collapses continue, Team Canada put more points on the board when they rotate to Courtyard. This is where we're looking for them to get a solid hold to bring themselves back in this game.
Lots of disruption coming through from Money, and that's why you're seeing the hard point control kind of juggle here as Built by Gamers eventually hop right back on for the last bit of scrap time. 70-second lead extended for them at this point as we're now rotating to the middle of the map, and they've already dipped their foot in the pool. As you can see, Dab Patty's looking to get into the mix and disrupt it. Lots of pressure from Pillars and Kitchen, though. The misdirection, bait and switch, they take him down. Royalty now taking position around Art as he gets ready for the next wave of enemies spawning up on Garage side. Once again, Royalty with the stellar submachine gun movement, a trait that he's taken from game to game since at the very least Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Very fast-moving player that's always got his head on a swivel.
Yeah, and Diamondcon was pulling the AR fight right out to pool, so it took pressure off the subs in the hill, but more importantly, he was winning it, so you're not having reinforcements flood right up the steps and challenge Exotic inside, and that not only leads just to a solid position curling in spiral for P1 on rotation, but you've got about 50 seconds in your pocket off that hill alone. Team Canada literally did everything right. They got a full 60 points on that hard point, and they are right back in this game. Exotic has been uncontested in the hill for quite some time, and when it does come, Royalty is there to clean up the scraps. Now we go back to P1. It does buy Gamers to be set up early, but with Exotic shooting like this on a 5 spree, getting close to streaks, that's what he's thinking about now. With all the gunfights happening on the outside, he just needs information. He will get cut down in the back, but his job is done, and the damage is done. Team Canada are back in this game.
I would have been interested to see if he could make more of a difference pushing into Art through Zig there, but I imagine he expected someone to be holding that cut and stopping him regardless. He gives up the line of sight, goes through Pillars, and gets shot in the back. And now Built by Gamers have overwhelmed the hard point, stopped the score streaks, and now they're looking to extend their lead further as Canada was starting to close that deficit. Look at Kismet in the back line, double kill, big stop right there, especially as we're moving from P1 to P2. You want to get set up for that kitchen. You want to, again, be disruptive around Money. Exotic's got the right idea. He's already sat in the corner. Peeking over into the pool, he finds a great long-range shot onto Kismet, and now we're going to see Team Canada we're going to see Team Canada start to converge onto the new hardpoint here as Built by Gamers are just kind of scrambling around middle map and basketball court.
And where is Kismet, right? Well, just turn around. You'll probably find him. It's all right in the kill feed for the moment. One will break up the spree, but Royalty putting a couple of shots to the brick. Somehow that works. Royalty gets a headshot out of it. Didn't know you could shoot through that. Shout out attached. Royalty 13 and 17. Making a 4 spree, making a 5 spree. Kismet drops. They have hill control currently, and everyone else is inside soaking up time. This is a 30-point lead they're slowly getting back into, and with 30 to go, they're going to tie this game up 9, take the lead as Royalty is just beaming right now. More challenging from the front, but he's going to clear out Kitchen, make it 4, 5, 6 in a row. 49 seconds to his name, 50 and counting. This is exactly what Team Canada need. What? Royalty, where did you come from? How are you doing this? He's still rolling. We're going to stick on his POV. He's got streaks. This is just an unreal performance mid-game from Royalty. We go in rotation, and they've got the lead back.
Royalty battling Built by Gamers on his lonesome here at times, it seems. That's 8 kills in a row. This dude is just nasty right now. Always in your face. Look to see him do it again. Tagged up by the Semtex and still challenges. With the support of his team, they clear out the hard point, and now the hunt is on the side of Circle. They will be pouring in through Art. They will send a player through Jim, and Royalty knows this. He sat pretty with an AR, a submachine gun in his back pocket. Ooh. Expect to see him use it here shortly. Pender with a great read. Catches him at a distance. One more in the corner, though. He did not expect them to be in that far corner with no cover. GodRx with the follow-up. He's able to contest, but again, outnumbered and taken down. Van is blown up now, so that should be useful cover for the defensive team, Team Canada, who, by the way, have pulled ahead in this game by 30 seconds. A big lead change off of the back of that Royalty performance.
Down by 60, up by 40. We keep on going along, and all of this is thanks to Royalty, and I believe he has streaks as well. So worst case scenario, if you need to close this game out, look at the next two hills you're going to. You got Basketball Court and Courtyard, the most open of hills on this entire map, and you have the best possible chance to take out some BBG members the longer you push this one on. But GodRx working in the back, a lot like what Exotic did earlier on the first rotation. We'll see how this ends. The Royalty is going to invest in at least the missile. Does he find anything? Streaks are out, raining it down from above. Kismet will be the first victim, and he falls. That's going to break the hill, but more inside for Built by Gamers. They're trying to work their way back. GodRx gets shut down. Dev Patty can't win a gunfight. Two more inside. Panda with a cleanup. Pentagram with one more. I mean, this hold from BBG, barring that streak, has been almost perfect. They're just hoping that more numbers are flooding right down the stats where they can pick them off, and no one's challenged at money window. Finally, player 5 will. It's Exotic. Diamond come with the jump shot. It's going to be good enough for one. Pentagram finds two, finds three. He cleans out the kill, and he gets at least some time in the hill. 2:07 and counting. They're going to get the lead right back.
We talked about Pentagram before this game started. He's nearly double positive at the moment. Great defensive hole with the submachine gun as he's now going to pull his team ahead for another lead change. Team Canada's massively they built for themselves by about 40 seconds now dissipated as Built by Gamers hold strong in the basketball court. Moving back towards middle map, we saw just how crucial control of kitchen and pillars can be. These long lines of open lines of sight that the ARs can dominate. Let's see what Pentagram does with this positioning.
Yeah, and you don't want to have to use the streak if you don't have to, but with 3 dead, this is essentially when you call it. You can't afford to give them 10, 15 more seconds. So off-spawn, Royalty's going to invest in at least an artillery, and there it will be. Find some numbers and the info. Now you have to push if you're Team Canada. You can't afford to let this get to 240 because then they play off scrap time. There's a kill from Royalty. Now in Zig pressure, but spawns are back out, and you have to worry about the pressure from water steps. Pentagram's able to find one, Panda with 2, and the cleanup in the hill. Built by Gamers need 5 seconds. No one else is around. That's game 1. Streaks mean absolutely jack. They get it done, and BBG come back from the brink, 250 to 227.
Wow, way to stay composed. Every single player on BBG had a moment to shine in this map. Even GodRx getting your best play kill cam here at the end of the game, and rightfully so. Ended the game at 19 and 21, but guess what? He was just as impactful as all 3 of his other teammates, even in the face of players like Exotic and Royalty going on massive streaks, chaining together kills and huge sums of time in the hardpoint. BBG kept it together, and they brought it to a close finish here in hardpoint.
You know, Fox, I think you'd hit the nail on the head there. I mean, with heroic performances from Exotic and Royalty, it seemed like they were doing quite literally everything to counter BBG. Team Canada had solid holds on Courtyard. They had solid rotations to Basketball Court, and they were contesting all they could. But when it came down to holding in the endgame at essentially Basketball Court, they gave up a 40-point lead, and then going into Courtyard, a hill that they had, I'm sure, 55 seconds to 60 seconds on that prior rotation, they couldn't get inside for more than 10 seconds, and the streaks didn't matter after a while. Once you called it in, you're hoping the rest of your teammates can help funnel those kills. They couldn't get anything, and facilitating through the streak is the most important step. Unfortunately, you only got one half of that done. Built by Gamers' resolve through the end was almost perfection, and it was just an impressive performance all the way through. Royalty's biggest spree is what kind of helped Team Canada jump out to a lead. But after that, Built by Gamers just held strong inside the hardpoint. And with kills like this from Pentagram to break hills and hold them, it's going to be so hard to beat BBG.
Right, and Sean, as you mentioned it, the game gets a whole lot harder when missiles are falling down from the sky, as it turns out, especially when you don't have a roof over your head and you're trying to hold the hard point. That just makes the game a whole lot harder. We saw Royalty drop some great great lightning strikes. We saw
as well.
Exactly. But we saw on the side of BBG, it was just a more well-rounded, concerted effort. Everyone just had this great surge of them being in control and dictating the pace of the game. And I think that it spelled out a really beautiful, competitive conclusion to that hard point. Lots of back and forth. The big lead changes were really exciting. And especially that first minute or so where we thought it was just heavily in favor of BBG, Team Canada showed that they got what it takes to go toe-to-toe with them, at least in the hard point so far in this series.
Once more, I love the way you put that, like a beautifully competitive game of hardpoint, because that's what it was. I mean, BBG were up early. You got a heroic performance from a couple of players on Team Canada. Then we swing back to their POV. They're frying, but BBG don't panic. They don't fret, and that's something that has come a long way. In the earlier seasons of the Elite Series, we used to see this team panic to make mistakes, and they would often overcorrect and make more. Now, they trust their gut, they trust the fundamentals, they trust each other, and they did what they had to do in every single hill to get the job done, and that's why they took game one. 250 to 227, raid hardpoint goes to BBG. Now we go to standoff S&D, where again, we need to see BBG have that composure and confidence when things aren't going their way, but for Team Canada, again, try to focus on getting your players in the best position to make plays. We saw what Royalty was able to do in those hardpoints. Let's see if he can also do that alongside Dev Patty and Exotic in this S&D, and if possible, if you have players going on X Factor modes, try to rally around that and use them as that X Factor. Use them as that secret weapon to push yourself through rounds. This is very much a battle of teams that are both fundamentally sound and have the ability to explode off the gut for no reason and take over games. This is going to be a very, very tense and competitive series, and so far that hardpoint showed us exactly why.
Right, and if we take a look at Team Canada going through the rest of the series, they're finding themselves down 0-1 so far, but I don't think it's right to count them out. I think we're looking at a team of stellar players, especially with the guys from Canada themselves, Royalty and Exotic specifically. We take a look at someone like Exotic, who's constantly prioritizing that objective, always trying to contribute, and capitalize, always getting that objective. And we take a look at Royalty, who's, again, head on a swivel, always keeping his feet moving. Same with Exotic. So when you got these two players that can keep pressure up like that and can, keep someone from GodRx from going on streaks for too long, you have a pretty good working combination of players right there. The question is, will they be able to shut down the entirety of the BBG roster? Anyone on this team can pop off at any time.
Yeah, and I look at those two kind of X factors for me, at least just with history's sake, right? Kismet, whether it's Miami or standoff, he's going to be hitting the back alley. He's going to be somewhere. So you need to make sure you have eyes on the flank because he will disrupt any hold you have. And every time we've watched S&D, whether it's S&D or specifically Control as well, which we'll get into in a later discussion, Exotic, for some reason, tends to be the X factor. And I don't mean that in a negative way. Like, he can go, like, maybe 4 and 8 in S&D, but his 4 kills are, like, the biggest of the rounds, and that is what decides Team Canada's fate more often than not. And he has that same tendency in Control. So I want to know what Exotic is able to cook up in this game, too, and I want to know what Kismet does to at least disrupt Team Canada's flow. And already, you could see them hitting through the back alley, right through gas station, and they are focusing on getting first blood.
That's right, and you said it well about Exotic. He just knows how to make an impact. He knows how to use his life to the fullest. We're seeing him here push through A alongside the bomb carrier and find that opening kill, at least on the A side of the map. 2 players are down for BBG in this 3 versus 2 scenario. One is back blue. Exotic actually just ignores him. Goes right back to middle map to support his team on the site at A. Player number 5 is the one to look for. That's Kismet. We talked about how tricky he could be, but it's actually Pentagram coming in from back deli to sniff out Exotic in blue. The game of cat and mouse now is they do find him in the back again. Kismet being so disruptive catches him off guard, and now it's a 2 versus 2 play for the players on site. The bomb is planted for Tractor. One is at boxes, one is on train. Head is pulled off of Kismet. The final shots rain through for the remaining player, and we see Team Canada get the first round with a great post-plant positioning defensive hold.
I almost want to clap for how Dev Patty played that round, because so many times you'll see players get tagged and then immediately go out for a challenge thinking they can win the gunfight. He gets tagged on bomb, backs up so his teammate can support him, and his teammate wins the opening kill, and then Dev Patty wins the trade. Like, that's how you play your life so damn well, especially on standoff. So many times you'll see players jump out and try to win the gunfight, but Dev Patty doesn't think that way. And instead, he gets a kill out of it, and they get the round as well. Team Canada take the first round in this game. Bomb heavily pushed up. And now it goes down. Pentagram with 2 kills in front is able to find 1. The opening break is there. First blood, second won't. Dev Patty response.
Dev Patty from a distance. Talk about playing your life. Diamondcon and Dev Patty have yet to give one up to the side of Built by Gamers. We'll have to see if that changes towards the conclusion of this round, but GodRx in a 1 versus 3. He's still able to take the head off of Dev Patty. 1 more on L-Wall. That's a double kill, tagged up and 2 weak. We see Built by Gamers playing their numbers and double challenging him on L-Wall to secure the bomb defuse and put their first round win on the board. We're knotted up at 1-1.
This is very clean S&D from Team Canada. That's my quick takeaway. We're only 2 rounds in, yes, but it's been very clean, very precise, and everyone's getting involved, and that's what you love to see for any team, right? In the middle of an S&D in the early start of a series, everyone's starting to eat just a little bit. Great trade from Exotic. Again, to clean up the final kill. He'll get the defuse off of it. I don't think anyone's close to streaks at this point because everyone else who was, working that way had died in that round. Exotic really the only one at 3-1. Royalty still trying to find a kill, but across the board, this has been a very even S&D for both teams. It's just happened to swing one way each round. But I'm interested to know how Built by Gamers play it now. Do they look for one of those rush plants over to B, over to A, and do they slow down and force Team Canada to make a play on a bomb?
That's right. And excuse me, we're seeing a 2-0 lead here for Team Canada. Exotic's going to be on 2 straight. One on the A site here. Expect him to get ready to pounce here shortly. There is trophy system support for both for a player on middle map and for the player on A site. So don't expect too much flanking action to happen here on the A site as long as Panda is alive. This choke point, oh so important. Trophy system protecting him there. As progress has been made onto the B site. Bomb is going down. Semtex well placed right behind his feet, and it's enough for GodRx to seal the deal. Exotic has to get in and get out before he was taken down as well. One inside Delhi, and Exotic has an idea of how that might go. Backing off and waiting for some support here. I wonder what Team Canada does from this point.
Do they know GodRx is back here? Oh, he could play such huge spoiler. He might have just baited out everyone, and if Kismet isn't careful, he's going to get pushed from behind. Oh, Kismet turns around. Yep, there go the arrows. You can see him chasing at the foot race to get Kismet. GodRx escapes up to gas station, takes down one. So AR is out of the equation, but Bomb is still down with 15 seconds. You have to plant. What do you do if you're getting pinched from 2 ARs? GodRx and Panda are watching Bomb, and now you bunch up. Is this the best play? Diamondcon, nowhere to go. Working underneath. GodRx going to get one. Exotic, not many places you can dip out of dodge here.
1v2. Oh, over the wall. GodRx with the hip fire, connecting with the only bullet he needed. And that's going to be a round on the board for Built by Gamers. Our team in pink here. 4 straight for GodRx as well. Just a good start from both teams again. Still kind of feeling each other out. Nothing too crazy going on. Of course, the numbers advantage playing itself out in a number of situations. And look, he was ready to come from off the top rope. He knew it was coming.
An interesting round from BBG, right? They kind of slowed down into their spawn, and then they wait for Panda to make that slow rotation through gas station. He gets behind one, basically has free eyes over to Statue, and essentially info over an A bomb. So once that's called out, you basically have Midstreet completely locked down. That whole lane is gone. And it really came down to the throttling of this of the cadence for BBG. Royalty on your screen, trying to avoid some nades. We'll get first blood, possibly second. There it will be. Bomb is down, but a very good spot for Team Canada. They're just going to stick it.
GodRx on boxes. Lots of close range engagements for him so far on this map, and he's been winning a whole lot of them. Sitting at 7-2 with 5 straight. There is one on tank. There is one on site. He's kind of stuck at this point in time, but Diamondcon is free to roam middle map, going straight to the L wall for a kill. He sits on site now for the defuse, but again, GodRx on boxes could prove to disrupt this here. No. Bomb defuse, and Team Canada's going to take it 3-1.
You know, I'm not really sure what GodRx was looking at there, but there was no one else around. It was a 1v1, and we saw Dav Patty try to stretch it earlier. It couldn't happen, but GodRx had a free kill in front that he just didn't check. Team Canada get away with one. 7-2 for GodRx on a 5 spree. And that was a whole round. We continue forward. Bomb carrier will be Royalty.
We're seeing Built by Gamers at this stage. Of course, some time ago, replacing players such as Proto, replacing players such as Mox, Pentagram being one of the newer faces to this roster, certainly one of the standouts. And a crowd of stars, really. I mean, the Built by Gamers lineup is just studded with stars. Kismet in position. He's got 2 players on middle map that are going to end up running away from here, so he shouldn't see a whole lot of action here shortly, as they're still deciding what to do around Statue. You see GodRx holding the middle map cut. There is someone on site, but that Semtex will not connect with Exotic. And they're just kind of waiting for someone to take a step out of place. Try and find that first blood. We do hear shots ringing out. Dav Patty in the face of Panda and takes his face off. One more on site. He takes his gun down at the worst moment, and Kismet does get the trade. GodRx, also Peekaboo from top blue, is able to find a shot down mid. One on Statue. He decides not to re-challenge here. Might be the right call. Exotic moving up on the A site. Will be met just around the corner on this barrel. Chest high cover. Engages one, but there's 2. He falls. GodRx once again from his same position on blue. Just commanding presence this guy has. But as he goes out into the middle map, they finally take him down. Built by Gamers takes a round. We're seeing a 3-2 series. Lots of back and forth in this tug-of-war space.
Yeah, this is how it's going to be. I agree with you. The kind of tug of war of this game too. How that hard point went, in the entirety of that raid. It was back and forth all the way till the end, and this S&D has not disappointed yet. 9-2 for GodRx, 4-4 for Exotic. Same with Dav Patty. But I mean, for Built by Gamers, he is leading the way by quite a large margin. Is Kismet 2-5 bomb carrier. Team Canada will have Dav Patty on the opposite window, and he slides off the scaffolding, and Royalty will be playing close to bomb. So first blood's going to come any moment, and Pentagram gets it. Dav Patty now on a 1v2. Never mind, he's got reinforcements. Here comes the collapse. Pentagram's just raiding it. He eventually falls.
Whoa, Diamond Khan slides in by himself after his teammate backs off. Still gets the kill and gets away with his life. Kismet now scared to plant the bomb. Not quite free to do that one when they're going to slide in and challenge that way. Moving over to the B bomb site, we do see Diamond Khan rerouting here with the help of Dav Patty coming in from back brown. Oh, 2 people in front of him. The Diamatti shots are enough to get one and tag up the other. He's now waiting for support from his teammate. 2 on site, 1 at a distance. That's GodRx from boxes. He decides not to shoot and ends up getting caught for it. Dav Patty's going to put the bullets down that he needs from downrange and takes him out. And he's now awarded with the bomb defuse as well.
I mean, I don't blame GodRx for not shooting in that situation because you didn't get a clean look, but when you're watching 2 players just jump around corners knowing you're there, that's like the most disrespectful thing that could possibly happen. Like, they're literally clowning you as they're running towards you, and they get the kill in the end. Not much GodRx could really do, but it's just the POV was kind of funny.
Tough spot to be in.
First blood, but Team Canada doing a very nice job of mitigating Built by Gamers' presence on the map, finding kills quickly. And a lot of that comes through Diamond Khan and Dav Patty, right? 7-3, 6-4 on a 2 spree respectively each. But they haven't had to rely on Exotic and Royalty, who was the standout, the MVP in Game 1 in my eyes for how he was able to bring the team back. Hasn't been a factor in this one. Hasn't need to, because you're up 4-2, and these are the most dangerous rounds. You go up 5-2, this game might be done.
Brown well under the control of Team Canada as Built by Gamers opts to play far back onto blue, which has been working out pretty well for them, at least on some of these defensive rounds through the perspective of GodRx, who's now still approaching 10 kills. We do see the ping of the score streaks to play for some information. He communicates that to the rest of the team. Team Canada decides to stay put, and we do see the first blood come in as Diamond Khan falls at a distance in top market. This leaves the 2 players from market and boxes to move on to the site at A by themselves, with no AR support at a distance. The submachine gun battle will go down here shortly as Exotic does catch one. Not able to connect with the hip fire shots here, so that we will save that battle for another day.
That's a dangerous retreat from Exotic. I mean, you get caught running around.
Look at that.
Still beams Kismet. 3v3. Bomb is yet to go down. Finally will. Here comes a streak. Oh, God. Yeah, you're going to have to fall off sight. Here it comes, funneling right in front. Built by Gamers. Free round for them. Thanks for donating. Exotic 1v2, 1v nothing. Built by Gamers get the round, 1 away from tying it up. And now we can ask this question, right? Because it's a round because of the streak. They get that round under their belt. But was this the right time to call in the streak? That will be the question we ask in this game.
That's right. Score streaks making a big difference in this round with the information as well as the actual damage coming from them. You know, Mike Tyson said everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the mouth. Everybody's got a plan until missiles start falling from the sky. You got to completely abandon the site, running straight through the blue. Back on offense is Built by Gamers, moving over towards the market as they send 3 different players and sitting one way in the back. That's Panda to watch the gas station flank. Only one likely to do that one will be Diamond Khan. Not coming in anytime soon here. I expect to see some movement once we see a decision made by the players still sitting inside market. But a heavy stack on that A site there, and I wonder if the Built by Gamers players might be onto him here.
Well, there's one at least waiting back alley. That's Diamond Khan. And if Dav Patty spots any single soul making his way to B, you know it's going to get called out and the rotation will come through on the minimap. Kismet, I think, is trying to stretch bomb. Nope, he's a little bit still far away. And yep, I think he just got spotted. He did. Dav Patty's going to call it out. Here comes Diamond Khan right up to Delhi. And now the defensive hold will be there. ARs are in position, so it's going to come down to a swing over to A. And there's the collapse. Royalty, what the bait. He at least gets one. He can't get away with his life, but he did his job. 3v2, 3v1. ARs are doing everything, and GodRx once more is left in a position where he has to clutch, but not a lot of time.
So we do see Exotic making it out alive there from the hay bale. He was tagged up, hugging the corner, sprinting out with the pistol and sliding away to cover. Rewarded with it here as his teammates are able to set up around mid and find that closing kill and bring themselves to map point. I'm going to talk about it again here. I've talked about it a lot already, but just really impressed by Exotic's movement, the quick decision making from this guy. I think that he is someone that, back in Black Ops 3 especially, was someone that was really rewarded by that movement system. I think it's just really telling how he's able to carry those traits from game to game. It's just something that's makes him a very valuable player.
Agreed. And this is not a game that I think Built By Gamers were expecting to go this way. Almost gets the second. There's Panda for recovery. And he might be reading Diamondcon through a book, but now they have to think, how do you play with bomb down? It's Dav Patty and Diamondcon last alive. Built By Gamers have looked a little bit confused in this S&D, but this is a huge round to win. They have not looked the most comfortable. And they've let a couple of rounds slip by, and if they had that streak, again, we would be asking, how would this game change? Because with this round, they're bringing it back to the potential round 11 possibility, but they no longer have an artillery.
Wow.
2v1.
Shots like those remind me of why I watched them play this game. GodRx on the losing team at the moment, but nearly triple positive. It'd be very frustrating to lose a 1v2 in this fashion, but it's looking ever so more likely every second that passes, and now it's up to you, GodRx. Titan of the lobby for Built By Gamers. 16 seconds left on the clock. Bomb is down on boxes. They're both near deli, but they might have just slipped past each other. GodRx catches him on the tank, and Built By Gamers puts another round on the board. 1v3 clutch from GodRx.
I'm glad the COD gods heard me. There is absolutely no excuse for throwing a 1v3 like this. GodRx clutches up, and really, if it wasn't for his effort in this S&D, I don't know what would happen. Like, I think Built By Gamers would probably we'd be in map 3 right now. It would have been like 6-2. GodRx is carrying BBG through this, and with how uncomfortable BBG look this late in the season, I know Standoff has just come out, but this is a very good S&D team that is struggling at the moment. Team Canada are playing them quite well, and they get first blood out of it. Exotic able to get one, tags the second. A couple of collapses around Tang. Nate will flush out at least one. But with a 4v3 in position around site, what do you do if you're BBG? You have to commit to B. There is no other call. Dav Patty will be working the Tang. Diamondcon trying to work up to Deli. Bomb does go down, so that at least is a positive for BBG.
Got to feel real good about this one. It's planted for Brown. You could also spot it from Deli. We see they have two players near L wall. It's going to be a real tough real tough case for Team Canada to crack here. But straight through middle map, Diamondcon and Pander firing on one another. GodRx alive as always, doing damage. 13-4 now, racking up those kills. But Dav Patty's on the bomb.
That kill's huge. Exotic needed to win that. Now they can try to stick it. Kismet dies. That's going to be the game. Tied up series we got now. 6-4 will be the game 2 score. Team Canada evening this one out. We're going to go to the control, but I mean, aside from the score itself, this game didn't feel close. It was really the heroic effort of GodRx. The invested streak that you wonder might have changed things in this round. Certainly would have changed things in this round. And we can question the use of that, right? But this was a very uncomfortable S&D to watch if you're a BBG fan. It never felt like they were completely committed to every play they were calling. The only time it did was when they had GodRx wrapping, towards the back gas station, and when he went back alley and he was able to get a free kill. Everything else just felt like they were trying to play reactionary S&D, which is not going to work against Team Canada. But for a team that looks so composed and fundamentally sound in Game 1, a very, very poor performance in that Game 2.
Yeah, you can't be happy about what you saw here if you're a Built By Gamers fan. I mean, really a lot of it was just hinging on the back of GodRx's performance. So I'm sure you're going to see a whole lot of him in the kill feed here. Lots of kills in the beginning stages of the game, close range. But as we went on, he was just picking players off a chest-high cover at a distance. I mean, it was just a firing range for him, and he made it look real easy, especially with that 1v3, maneuvering his way around the back line, catching players off guard. still on the side of Team Canada, we got to talk more about this team and their performance. I think we saw the Exotic with a lot of disruptive positioning, a lot of disruptive play, and that's why we saw Team Canada come out on top here.
And it's never really, unless it's around 11, there's never really one specific reason that, especially in the early rounds, that you can call back to and say that is why you lost. There really never is. It's always a multitude of decision makings that happen, but there are also instances and outliers. And the one outlier I can really point to is the streak. They used that streak to get up to, I believe, round number 3 win for them. And I wonder if they had been able to clutch up, or they've been able to at least make it 5-4. If you have that streak when it's 5-4, how different would this game have played out? Because if you use it then and get to around 11, who knows what happens? But that was a very preemptive use of that artillery. And because of it, they had no resources to at least secure a chance at the round win. And when they needed it most, they had to rely on positioning, which they didn't have. I really wonder how the game would have changed, Fox, if they had that artillery. I think that call was a little bit too early in the game.
Yeah, I think I wonder if GodRx maybe got too far ahead of himself. Maybe he was too frustrated with really doing a lot of the work throughout that search and destroy. He just wanted to have that advantage, have that information to relay to the rest of his team, and have everyone capitalize on it. But I mean, it did play out that way that round. But in the long run, of course, we saw that they could have used a bit more help. I think that he just anticipated his teammates really to step it up and start to contribute in those closing moments of the game, especially as he's clutching 1v3s.
Yeah, and now we go to raid control, which, again, for game 3, this is very much a situation that I think Team Canada Garrison control, I apologize. I think this is a situation where Team Canada have had multiple reps in, especially within the last couple of weeks. We look at Season 5 as a whole. We saw Team Canada week 1 on Garrison control. We saw them last week on the community stream on Garrison control. They come into this again, and I have to wonder if this was their pick. This is very much a map where they have practiced, they have played and had reps on, and I'm assuming they've gotten better since we saw them last. And if they're able to come out and have a solid performance, and I'm speaking about specifically Exotic, because Exotic has a way of pulling teams out of the brink of death in games. Like what we saw him do on Garrison Control in week 1, where he would sneak behind the defense, he would get over to A and just stay alive for the rest of his team to have a chance. I'm looking for plays like that. And because they keep picking this map mode combo, I'm really interested to know how they approach this differently if they aren't all slaying out of their minds. But for Built by Gamers, this is a huge game 3, because the game 1 went your way, but had it not been for some late game heroics from Pentagram in that basketball court and some solid holds from your ARs, you probably lose game 1. Game 2 didn't go your way at all. You go into control now, and this is a huge swing mode for this series. If Built by Gamers come out and take it, they might go through the hard point and have a similar fate like they did in game 1. But Team Canada are back. It's as if that game 1 didn't happen. They're just using it as fuel. And I think that this will be the closest matchup we have so far this series.
Too. I mean, if they were able to go so far in that search and destroy with very little working out for them, then I'm really terrified to see what they can do when they all really start firing. Should we make it to game 5 and the next search and destroy? Moreover, talking about game number 3, though, looking at that control, I gotta say, someone that stands out to me again is Exotic. That submachine gun player will be disruptive, will always be active on the map. Kismet as well on the opposite side for BBG, certainly no slouch, and it's something that you will need when we get into a map like Garrison Control, where you can get up on bricks and really disrupt the spawn of the enemy team. So I gotta ask you, Space, is there maybe an AR player in this map that might also be able to benefit from the space that is created by these submachine gun players?
Pander 100% has got to be my answer. Just knowing how BBG play, right? Like, they are so heavy on close engagements that Pentagram can win, and Pander will always sit at a distance. You even think back to kind of his plays on Moscow Hardpoint. Pander is kind of the key for me, but I also, we could always talk about Pentagram and Pander, and of course GodRx, right? But I want to talk about Kismet, because when Kismet's on his game, like when Kismet is playing at his absolute best, when he hits his ceiling, it's like he's like a top 5 player on the planet. Like, the dude is unreal. The problem is that he just doesn't have that consistency all the time to hit that ceiling. But if he's able to hit that and hit that kind of form either tonight or tomorrow, Built by Gamers could win this whole thing. It really comes down to not only how well Kismet plays, but can the ARs put him in a position, and can they continue to contribute in meaningful ways on the field? And that's what BBG relies on, is the solid fundamentals, but having X factors. And Kismet and Pentagram certainly are both of those. So far, we get into this game 3. We're already on B. We're about halfway through second tick, and there it is. So Lights control is there. BBG have numbers, and Royalty's trying to take out both, but B will be locked down. A minute to go on the clock. Put 2 there. And with a couple of opening kills and a flurry of them at that, we got 2 minutes on the clock, a life lead for BBG, and a pretty good position to be in.
That's got to feel great. Stellar control of lights right there. Team Canada were pushed back quickly, and they were kept back for the entirety of the progress obtained on the B point.
Ooh.
And now we're already seeing Pentagram in position at A, so far unopposed as he's mowing them down. They're coming out of bricks, but they're not lasting long at all. The team shot is there. Built by Gamers with one of the fastest rounds of control on Garrison that we've seen on broadcast.
I would like to see whoever's running stats, Easy Mac, let me know on Twitter. Was that the fastest round of control we've ever seen, at least for Challengers Elite this year? I have to think that might be. That was at least 45 seconds. I think at most, actually. I think that at most it was 45 seconds. That was one of the fastest rounds you'll ever see. There was one team push aside. There was Team Canada up to B, and then Team Canada up to A. That was it. That was complete dominance, and there's not really a lot to break down because there's only been a couple engagements aside, and when you lose the opening team push twice, that's how control works. You're going to lose the round. Not a whole lot to talk about. Let's get right into round number 2 as if this was the start of the game.
Killless up to this point was Diamondcon until finding the first opening kill in this round. Exotic still yet to find one of his own at 0-4. We'll have to see if round 2 plays out any differently from round 1. So far, so good from Kismet, at least for the side of Built by Gamers. He's just playing defensively here. 4-0. Pentagram playing his life around lights, just trying to be disruptive, waiting for the support from middle map. It's coming here. It's coming here in the form of Kismet. That's a big headshot right there. Flank on the final player on lights. Or Kismet's actually going to opt to go into the enemy spawn. Looks like he's been caught here, so the play ended up unraveling before his eyes. But I think I liked the call right there. He left that final player and just wanted to go and kind of act as a buffer for the next wave of engagements.
Yep, you got Kismet with full streaks. Pentagram at least has an artillery, so there are resources here for BBG. And we will play through a full minute, right? Like, this cannot be faster than the first round because at this moment, Team Canada have not had the same success. But what scares me most is that you have streaks. 3 of them, to be exact. So if things get out of hand for BBG, I would love to not see them waste the opportunity to use those streaks, but you have that in your back pocket. And right now, their defense is good enough. They're doing the job. They're getting it done. They're winning gunfights in top 3, and those ARs are eating. Pander and GodRx are combining for all white in the kill feed. Pander makes it 7-3, shooting players out of spawn in Narnia. It's 15 seconds to go. Kismet is so far pushed up. Team Canada are getting absolutely bullied, and they haven't shown any signs of life, and that's been all the dominance from BBG.
GodRx coming all the way through with the blinged out AK-74U. 6 kills in a row, excuse me, as Built by Gamers close out another swift round. I mean, these dudes, they came to play this map.
This is the meanest response from an S&D that just didn't go your way. And I never say this often, and it's for a reason, but with how good Team Canada have been playing, it's like we entered a pub. I don't know what is happening, but the guns from BBG, this is the championship form BBG we expected all season. This is what's made them the most consistent team in North America. When they're playing like this, and they're reading the map like this, they're quite literally unbeatable. Like, they are doing what Easter and Wester were doing in the earlier start of the year. This is what BBG can do, and they have streaks. Let's see if Team Canada can just try to slow it down. And like we talked about in the pregame Fox, when things aren't going their way, you look to Exotic to change the paradigm. You look to him to make a heroic play. I am keeping my eye on him in this round. Can he bring his team back and make the play that gets them back in this game?
Someone's got to turn this game around. Whenever we get onto Garrison control and Dav Patty's in the lobby, I always highlight his AR power, his AR prowess, but we're just not seeing it right now. Pender has his number. Pender and GodRx, everyone, just the collective of Built by Gamers is just shutting down the deadliest weapons that Team Canada has in their arsenal on this map. You see Diamondcon just waiting for the next opposition to turn the corner. It's Pentagram, but he still takes him out. Dav Patty on middle map, headshotted. Kismet does the same alongside GodRx. And I mean, it's just they're dropping like flies. These gunfights are not going in their favor, and Built by Gamers, they know what to do. Hop on the objective and play it out.
Yep. They're solid holds on defense for Team Canada off the start, off spawn. But after that, everything else breaks down. And guess what BBG is doing? They say once you go down, we're stacking the point to put as many members here as possible. We want to get through B right over to A. And that is a fantastic response from Team Canada. That is quite literally the definition of holding the line. They get themselves back into lights. They win a couple of big gunfights. Now you can spread out at mid-map, control the 50-yard line. and force BBG to overexert themselves on the field.
Oh,
Kismet
no.
just doesn't finish the gunfight. And now with 10 seconds to go, Team Canada should get this round, and they should stay in this game.
Yeah, they needed this one. I mean, Built by Gamers was just putting the hurt on the first 2 rounds, and I mean, of course, they needed this one to stay in the map, but composure as a whole, as a team, is just that was demoralizing to see as a spectator.
Yep. Well, here's the silver lining for BBG, and I know we're kind of focused on the perspective of Team Canada, but let's talk about it. BBG, we're on the offensive side. Right now, you're going to defense. Duh. You have streaks. So if you get bullied at B and you have to fall back to A, and that is the last-ditch effort to keep this from going to an OT, you have streaks like an artillery and a missile to be able to clear out zone. That is the last hope. That's your Hail Mary, right? If this one is about to go to OT and you're worried about A, Built by Gamers have a lot in their pocket, and Team Canada needs to recognize that. Like, if they get B locked down, they have to know that A will not just be, that A won't just be free. You can't just get a team wipe and expect to win. Streaks will get called in. So that's kind of what I'm looking at going into this round number 4. We'll see if we go to OT, but at this moment, first one inside A, it will be Team Canada. Here comes the streak, and we're investing early. That's the call. Cruise missile down. Does it spot anything? Trying to sneak it through the ceiling, and he just tags one. That's a huge investment early from BBG.
Yeah, not a whole lot from that one. We'll have to see what they make of it here now, but Royalty looks pretty well positioned to just plant his feet on bricks, on arches there, and play defense. Still, though, overwhelmed he is as 3 Built by Gamers players pour through bricks and regain control of the A site. Now we're going to see them mount their positioning around green and satellite. They do have a number of players on middle map to deal with. That's Canada, of the side of Team Canada, one of them being Diamond Khan, who still has gone unanswered. The entire center of the map has been cleared of Built by Gamers players as progress has been made at B.
They keep making progress today as well. We got a minute to put on the clock. 2 minutes to go. Dab Patty fighting a very difficult gunfight in top green. And that would open up so many realms of opportunity and possibility. But the setup right now for BBG, you got basically an AR in the back. Or excuse me, that's Kismet. Never mind. He's currently on top radar with that sub.
Ooh, playing for
Panda
streaks.
roams in. And Dav Patty has streaks, so this could open up a site. And when do you call this? If you're Dav Patty, you're close to the cruise. Do you decide to call in the artillery to open up the site, move in, and then use part of those kills to funnel in the streak? This is a huge moment in this game.
Got a lot of time to work with, so Dav Patty opting to just play for the kill, and he ends up falling for it. Panda was waiting for someone to turn that corner. Unfortunately, ended up being the guy playing for score streaks from the side of Team Canada. Once again, plants his feet, stays right where he's at. He knows he's not going to miss. He's holding a very close choke point, and I feel like you know better than to turn that corner and get cut in half, but apparently not everyone does. Kismet coming up from green with the information from his score streak still gets taken down. Pentagram is the last line of defense in the back line. Dav Patty's going to drop some missiles down from the sky here again. The strike comes through. 2 kills go in favor of his team as well. That might be the support that they needed to get on the site. But again, Kismet, Pander making a big difference here, keeping Royalty at bay. Semtex at his feet. He's got to get out of there, but they're not letting him escape. Pander takes no prisoners.
That was a waste of a streak, but it's 17 to 13 to life count. It might not come down to streaks. Trying to even it out. Kismet and Pentagram doing all they can. Pentagram watching lights. And they have held this back spawn for the entirety of the round. You saw Pentagram working back here earlier, about a minute ago. Dav Patty will fly out. Exotic might come for the challenge. He will. And they're going to try to throw as many numbers at Pentagram to pull him off of the Teddy. And Pentagram, just with a single bullet left, picks up the kill. You got 19 seconds for your Team Canada. You invested the streak, which found literally nothing. And you have to go. You have to make a move. Dav Patty switches to every gun possible. Still picks up the kill. Exotic following through. Kismet and Pentagram find 2. Exotic's inside, wins a massive gunfight. Exotic's last alive, and Pentagram flies in for the kill. The trade, 4 seconds. No one else is around. BBG win the game. Here comes streaks. It doesn't matter. I don't know how we got to this point, but the wasted streak from Team Canada and the hold and the indecisiveness from Team Canada kind of bites him in the back as BBG just sits on the point for 2 minutes and no one else gets their foot in.
Absolutely. I mean, they got worked those first 2 rounds, and from there, it was a real tough map to watch. Team Canada did not seem very well poised to play through that map right there at all. And I think that we should expect to see Built by Gamers contribute more. Incredible. What was that? Like a minute and 10 seconds in that control? It was just nuts.
Yeah, it was, and the first round was like maybe 30 seconds. It wasn't even close. The second round, a little bit longer, but it just continued to go. And thank you, yeah, Fox, you're right. A minute 10 seconds. It was a very quick round, right? But that whole ordeal was just awkward because as the game continued on, we started seeing BBG, you know, they got a little bit more indecisive. They got a little bit more shaky, but Team Canada had opportunities here. They had opportunities after winning that first defensive round. And I'm not going to harp on the streak usage because at that point, there was so much time after the streak to make a play that they just wasted. And I know they were trying to regroup through bricks, but there was 2 minutes on the clock. They had one streak they could use, and they didn't get more than a foot inside. That is a lot to do with their inability to clear out Diamondcon and Pentagram from those back spawns than it has to do with the streak usage. But Built by Gamers held the line. They quite literally just did what they had to do to win the game. And after those first 2 rounds, it gets a lot easier when the pressure is on.
And it's so difficult to play against the Built by Gamers roster, which what you'll see in those replays is a lot of Pander finding those kills at a distance. Pentagram, if you were able to even get past Pander's line of sight, he was there to deal with you, made short work of the opposition, especially in those first 2 rounds. I mean, there were no kills from half the side of Team Canada in the 70 seconds of Call of Duty they got to play in the first round. Yep. So if you're Built by Gamers, you're satisfied with that win. I mean, I did mention Dav Patty, usually someone that's great on Garrison control. And the one moment that Team Canada looked great, it was Dav Patty on a 7 streak, right? And just his AR presence on that map constantly felt. So I'm looking forward to see more of that going forward.
Sure. Yeah, and again, we talked a little bit about Pandor going into that and how control can differ when you're an AR player and how it can change when your ARs are lining up. Pandor and Pentagram were certainly doing both. Here's the series layout for you, folks. The maps have been interesting, but the games even more. Built by Gamers took games 1 and 3. Team Canada tied up the series in game 2. But now we go to Garrison Hardpoint, which again, we just saw this map. But Garrison Hardpoint is another one where Team Canada should have somewhat of an advantage because of not only how much they've played these kind of map mode combos back to back, but with how Royalty's been playing, with how Exotic's been playing, they can absolutely match the slaying power of what BBG is bringing to the table. The only question is how consistent will it be? Because it seemed like BBG went into that control just really pissed off, and they showed that they're just going to take over the game. If they continue just to decide they want to win, this could be a 3-1 series as quickly as we get into it.
That's right. That Garrison control was just all right hooks, all dominant hand right hooks from Built by Gamers. It was just crazy the first 2 rounds, especially the first. That's got to be maybe not a record, but definitely near a record of completion of a control round on Garrison. But moving forward to the hard point, if it's anything like that first one, I think it's a really tough call to see who comes out on top. I mean, that first hardpoint was so competitive, huge like shifts in the pace of the game in terms of lead changes and kill streaks and score streaks coming through to play a part in the game. So I'm looking forward to see what unfolds here in this Garrison hardpoint. I think that if you're Team Canada, you try not to let that previous trip to Garrison weigh down on you too heavily, right? The body keeps score. Come into this next map with a fresh mind and play like you did in map 1, and you'll stand a chance here just fine.
This is going to be a tough series, folks. This is going to be a very, very tough series. We want to know what you're thinking in the YouTube chat. Let us know who you picking. We got Garrison Hardpoint coming up in just a moment. And going into this, I want to hit that sentiment one more time, one final time. Depending on what Kismet we get the Kismet who can roam, disrupt any setup, and be an absolute nuisance all the time. A guy who looks like he could be a top 5 player on the planet when he's playing that way at his best. This BBG roster is going to work their way through the series. They're going to go into tomorrow and they're going to stomp everyone. But if we don't get everyone on the same page for BBG, it's going to be games like this where you have very slow performances in the hard points, very awkward performances in the S&D, and then very strong starts and strong middles, but shaky moments that lead it to be much closer than it needs to in every other game mode. We go to Garrison Hardpoint. I have to think that BBG are understanding of the fact that they win this game, they move on to tomorrow, and they're going to come out with everybody firing on all cylinders. I'm taking them going into this, but Team Canada, calm, cool, collected. The fundamentals are there. Even if you get punched in the mouth, stick with the fundamentals like you did in that hard point and hope that someone, as an X factor, can kind of turn the game on a dime. Let's get right into it. Fox, who you picking going into it?
I'm looking at BBG. Last time these guys met up, BBG was able to take it 3-1. It was Penta and GodRx that were online, and we're seeing more of the same here. I got to say, BBG's just looking like the more polished team, the more consistent team as a whole. And, I mean, these are teams that were last week at the start of our standings, both of them 2-2 coming into the mix of competition. But BBG right now just look like the better team.
No, I tend to agree with you, especially how that control went. But who knows how this series will go? Anything but predictable at this moment. And off the start of this hard point, so far a couple of contests short of P1, but really the lead there for BBG. Now we see a small rotation on the floor for Pander, sub in hand, already thinking about P2. Sure, but numbers are here. Team Canada set up, ready and waiting. Hoping this nade might connect on Kismet, but he will just play his life to perfection. Here's the challenge, doesn't matter. Did his job, the contest comes in with 13 seconds to go. Back and forth we are this game one. Let's go to P2.
Pander engaging by himself here. He finds 1 kill before being traded. It ended up being a wise play because of the fact that his team is already rotated to P2. Resources already set up to hold down the initial time of this hill, only behind by about 10 seconds. Certainly the right call as Team Canada struggles to make their way through bricks. Thanks to Pander in the back line. Expect to see him do a whole lot of that on this map in the next few minutes. And now look, they completely gave it up. They're all pouring through Satellite. They saw that was a lost cause. Done deal. Pander turns to Arches and mows them down anyway. Nobody's safe in his lobby. And they clear him out.
Pander was holding spawns back there for the longest of times, which gives them chances to funnel right up back into the hill. 8 and 3 was close streaks, but won't get there. Pentagram once more inside the hard point, but numbers are split out and splintered, I should say, for Team Canada, as they have been yet to touch foot into this point. 52 points and counting, 14 to go. We will rotate down to P3. Caution rotation comes through as Diamondcon might find a couple with Pentagram uncontested, working his way towards the scaffolding and jumps off the catwalk. Kismet now on the floor, trying to work through the back lines, and we've seen this 1,000 times, and we will continue to, trying to find Dev Patty. Does anyone peek first? It's a slow rotation at that, but the ARs aren't in a position yet to contest any of the entry subs. We wait to see how things unfold as no one is getting close to the hard point. On the other side of the minimap, though, bottom left, you can see a couple of members moving in for BBG. So far, they are unsuccessful as all numbers from Team Canada find their kills.
Kismet finds the lone wolf around middle map. That's Royalty was taken down. Ended up giving up the gunfight against Dav Patty, who was sat in the back line. Now moving up towards the middle of the map, they end up being able to take him out and still maintain control of the hard point. Trailing by about 20 seconds, Built by Gamers look to hop in, turn it over, but it's not that easy. Players in the front line with the submachine guns are able to take down Pentagram. Kismet responds with 2 of his own, but none of them on the point. So Team Canada looks to give us our first lead change of the map. All players at center map here for the side of Built by Gamers, as it looks like the scrap time has been conceded to Team Canada. They're already set up with trophy system support, and Royalty with a sneaky route still gets back whacked. Pentagram and Pander opening up the next wave of engagements with 2 kills. Dav Patty so far the only one to respond.
And the fact you're playing basically a 4v3 right now, BBG without Pentagram off the start. We've gone through 4 hills, and they had a lead up until these last 3 seconds. I mean, that is about as good as it can get. You're waiting for Pentagram to get online, but Team Canada are inside the hard point for the moment. Spawns are up for BBG, and we begin to flood. We'll splinter those numbers and go one at a time. Staggered pushes, and Kismet on the floor will break this one open. Can he find anything? He's inside for the contest. Not getting the kill on Royalty. Okay. Took my brain a minute to figure out how in the world that happened, but that's 3 wide the kill feed. BBG now inside the hard point. A shot from Pentagram that makes no sense. 5 and 9, trying to make it 6 and 9, but at this moment, it's very sloppy on the floor, but the job is the job, and if you do it, you get points out of it. 10 seconds to go, we're rotating to P5. Spawns are back for Team Canada. BBG can roll this hill into the next one and get a nice lead going back to P1.
Built by Gamers finds themselves in the lead once again with a 4-man kill streak of 7 kills before Kismet fell. Pander still staying alive from all of the action. He's on 4 in a row and in a power position. Make that 5. He's on a killing spree. Scrap time awarded to his team. Initial time awarded to his team here as Built by Gamers set foot in the objective, but it's not a clean setup. We got 1 in bricks. That's exotic. Not bricks, excuse me. Lights. That's exotic. Followed up by Dav Patty as well. The remaining 2 players, Royalty and Diamondcon, can't even get past Pander on catwalk. This is so troublesome if you're Team Canada. Pander does this time and time again, and there's been no answer to it.
This is where the game really starts to stretch away for BBG, and to make matters worse, you have streaks. You're continuing to go on a bit of a roll. Pander with a lot of resources in his back pocket. Royalty now just making his way to top green. thinking about the rotation and P2 2 hills ahead. But you need to win the gunfights on the floor. And so far, BBG have been doing all that. No matter where Diamondcon goes, he won't survive for long. Dad Patty already thinking about that rotation of radar, but you also have to fight the fight on P1, right? Because if you give up these 60 seconds, you're down 200 to 100. You cannot afford for BBG to get a full 50, 60 points here. You must contest, and you must find a way to get a team wipe. Right now, Dab Patty working on the floor is good with the Diamante for 1. 4 players losing their caution. Great shots from Dab Patty, starting to come alive when they need him most.
Takes his head off his shoulders for 4 kills in a row. Dav Patty now assumes the position on Catwalk that we saw Panda at previously. Let's see if he can replicate the performance from that AR, from that powerful AR that is Panda. Of course, in the past, getting lots of credit from other stellar AR players in the Pro League here, such as Octane. It's always good to have that kind of a vouch for you. Down on the floor there, several Built by Gamers players. Exotic is just waiting for him to cross that 50-yard line. And they still end up gunning him. Pentagram comes soaring from around the corner and gets the kill alongside GodRx. They're able to push up for free here through arches. Score streaks. The roof over his head saves him as GodRx still tries to get into the mix for the new hill here and stop that initial time from being gained, but he ends up team killing as well before falling.
Oh, Pentagram's got to be careful. Yep, you're going to get beat down in the back if you didn't know that push was coming from the top of the steps. Kismet will work his way in, and you have reinforcements here for BBG, but the pressure beating them out in bricks. Kismet in a very strong position, just staying alive, playing his life. Dad Patty the next victim, and GodRx will be working the jump. But Exotic wins the gunfight. And now you push through the back, try to break those spawns and force BBG to fly up independently, but they are just so good at finding trades. It just seems like it's clinical at this point. Royalty with a bit of a position in top green. We'll see how he plays it with 3 in the hill for BBG. Streaks as well, I believe. GodRx, and I believe actually Pander should have both. Diamondcon on the floor, 10 and 14. We're getting to a situation now where we're crossing towards that 200-point mark, and if you're BBG, you can win it on any single hill after this one. If you get one break, this game is essentially done. Team Canada need a full 60 here if they want any chance of staying in this game, because the trend has not been on their side. They've been getting about 10 seconds a hill for the last 2 hills, and it's not keeping them in the game. Fight. Okay.
Reaching that 200-point mark here is Built by Gamers, but in control of the hard point, we see Team Canada. 30 seconds left on it here is Kismet. It's rounding out the back. This could be an effective pinch from Built by Gamers if they're able to execute it just that well. And Kismet, huge part of the success in this play for sure with that double kill. 18 seconds remaining. They extend their lead as they finally cross the 200-point mark. 4 players flooding in through middle map here, and 1 is in their way. It's Pentagram. Kismet looking to get back into the action too, but not enough support as Pentagram falls early. And so now the initial time should certainly go to Team Canada. Built by Gamers have built themselves a comfortable cushion, a great lead of about 50 seconds, but all of that could very easily go dwindling away here if Team Canada is, if Built by Gamers is not careful with this Team Canada positioning.
Well, that's 2 dead. More numbers on the floor for Team Canada. They need these kills now more than ever. Royalty with a challenge, Royalty with a win. Kismet flying off spawn, and the cross shots are there, but he will drop quickly. Nice trades back and forth. Team Canada need these 30 seconds, and so far they're inside the point. You have spawns far back for BBG at P3. We're already thinking about P5, and you can already see numbers sitting in lights. That's Exotic. But here comes the push in the front. Trying to clear out the hill with Dap Patty. He gets absolutely baited to a heady. And Exotic doing what he can, but here come more kills and more trades. BBG survive the front assault. They get back inside. They can't win it here. We're going to P5. This is where the game gets decided right here on the floor. Team Canada need a trade of kills and a flurry of kills. They want to stay in this game.
2 players on both teams have broken 20 kills. However, on the side of Built by Gamers, we're looking at 3 different players that have well over a minute of hill time to themselves. And as they approach that 250 mark, just 17 seconds separate them. We're going to need to see some stellar, cohesive play coming from Team Canada. You do not have a lot of time for mistakes just yet. Exotic is on a 3 streak. Collectively, the team is on 6 in a row. We'll see what they do with it as we come to the closing moments of this hard point.
The silver lining here for BBG is Team Canada can't win it regardless of how many points they get on this hill. So you're going back to P1. Now you need to focus on getting team hits orchestrated together and wiping the floor. Need to get back towards mid-map. They're getting pushed through their spawn. And Team Canada are in a position to push this to a Game 5 if they hold these spawns and hold these lines of sight. Diamondcon going to check out Kismet with that nade. Nothing connects. And just wasting time for his teammates to get into position to win their fights. Pander goes down, top left of the minimap. Diamondcon's so weak, he eventually drops. Numbers are building up for BBG, and here comes the floodgate and the rush. But Royalty trying to shut down everything. A couple of more trades will be there. Back to P1. Team Canada are in a very good spot to win this game.
Wonderful spot to win this game. Another lead change here, and as you get close to score limit reach, you don't want to see Pander coming through with a double kill. Breaking the hard point with an AR, leaving Kismet to do the cleanup work. Get that hill time. Only 10 seconds separate you from victory. Taking down Team Canada here would feel oh so good from Built by Gamers. It would be another 3-1 victory, and it looks like they might just do it here again. Pander, the Warden, holding it down on the objective and securing the victory for Built by Gamers.
A huge performance in the end from Kismet and a back and forth hard point. It leads to so many tense moments on the floor. Mid-map control was huge for both teams. It was huge when it was against them. But BBG clutch up, and BBG punched their ticket to the playoff bracket tomorrow, which means Team Canada have another life here in the knockout gauntlet. They have another life tonight, but it was a sloppy performance from BBG, right? A dominant part of the control, an interesting back and forth game one, but not the cleanest moment from BBG. Regardless, though, they get the job done. They move to tomorrow. Ali, you were watching the entire series. Talk to me about what your thoughts were.
My biggest takeaway is I feel like we really are seeing the beast that is GodRx finally. I feel like he's been kind of silently making his way on this BBG roster. You know, we've seen a lot out of Kismet. We've seen a lot out of the player Pentagram. And Pander in those last two maps, I mean, he really lit up as well. But GodRx, I feel like we finally are seeing the beast that he usually shows up with when it comes to every single game. GodRx is a player to be talked about. So to finally see him really putting some numbers on the board and taking control of the map is just fantastic to watch.
Yes.
And, you know, you need those kinds of performances, Fox, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, Team Canada showed up in the hard point here. I do want to talk about that as well. We can give praise all day long to BBG, especially with how strong they were in the control, how wonderful they might have looked in map 1. But they did it again in game 4, even though they lose by 3-1 here.
Yeah, and here's a look at kind of the bracket for tonight, because there's a lot that we still have to get through. And while matches have happened off stream, it's the ones that we see here that tend to be the most impactful, the most important. As BBG take it 3-1 over Team Canada, they move on to tomorrow's playoff bracket. So they join, the likes of UYU, which again, the #1 team in North America at the moment. That roster is disgusting. And Lore Gaming, Parasite's team, they join them tomorrow. Now we see the conclusion of Team Canada versus Trash Bros, as Trash Bros won it 3-1 and their losers round 1 matchup. They take out No One Shoots Back. And now we got Team Canada, Trash Bros for losers round 2, losers finals. Whoever wins that will be joining the other 3 teams tomorrow for the playoff bracket. Guys, just kind of a quick, real, recap of this series, and then we'll quickly get some predictions before we get into that next game. But Ali, again, looking at how BBG played, that's kind of been the focus for tonight because they are the most consistent team. There's a lot of storylines there. Did you like what you saw from BBG outside of GodRx, or do you think that there's still a little bit more room to improve as they go into tomorrow?
Absolutely. I feel like every team will always have room to improve, but this BBG is one that I feel like we have not seen yet, and it's a great thing to watch. It feels like they are winning much more consistently. They are playing together much more consistently, and they don't really have moments of panic that I feel like we've seen in the past. Once they fell behind, they really struggled to get back up, and I don't feel like I saw that in that series. I feel like they were very confident in what they were doing, and that's really refreshing to see out of BBG. And I mean, not taking anything away from Team Canada, they hung in there well, and I'm excited because they're getting a little bit of a rematch here with Trash Bros going into our next match, and they did 3-1 Trash Bros before, so I guess maybe a little bit of a redemption map for our losers bracket.
Yep, just a little bit of a redemption map. I like the way you put that. We got Trash Bros and Team Canada coming up next for Losers Finals. But until we get there, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. And when we come back, the continuation of the Knockout Gauntlet for North America. Welcome back to the end of Stage 5 Challengers Elite Series for the 2021 season. This is the Knockout Gauntlet, and this is the final match of the night for North America. From here, we will decide who joins the rest of the 3 teams tomorrow for the playoff bracket, but only one more series remains. It's Trash Bros, it's Team Canada. I'm Spaceman. That's Fox and Allen. You guys know the deal by now. Welcome back into the broadcast. This is a tense one. Team Canada just lost to BBG. It looked good in the S&D. Everything else, give or take. But at this moment, nothing else matters except this one series. For Trash Bros, you're the defending Season 4 champions. This season has not gone your way, but can you bring it back and get yourself a chance at a repeat tomorrow? We'll find out here. Welcome back in. Fox, talk to me about this matchup, brother. Team Canada, Trash Bros. Team Canada come down from a rough loss, but surely the fact that they played BBG, they've gotten warmed up now, it's all out of their system. Do you think they're going to get it done here in this losers round 2?
I gotta say, you do not have much of a reason to be too confident in Trash Bros looking in this matchup. I mean, we see Team Canada able to go toe-to-toe with BuiltBot Gamers in their previous series. Although it was a 3-1 loss, those hard points could have gone either way. We're seeing Trash Bros at the top of last week. They were 0-4, really struggling in the bottom section of their North American teams, and I just don't see much of an out for them in this series, and I see Team Canada taking it.
Allie, we were talking a lot before we came back, and we were talking about Trash Bros specifically. Talk to me a little. I'm not going to ask you to repeat everything, but just talk to me a little bit about this specific team, the position they're in, and what it means to be playing a roster on the other side, like Dad Patty, Royalty, Diamond Con, and Exotic. Do you think the Trash Bros can get it done?
Oh, it's terrifying. And you know me, I like to live by the rule of recency. And Trash Bros just recently, today, lost to Team Canada already 3-1. So they're already going to be kind of living with that in the back of their minds as they go a little bit of a rematch, but that could also be a momentum push for them. They did beat No One Shoots Back 3-1 as well. In a very convincing fashion, they took the Raid S&D 6-4, 3-1, dominating the control, and the Hardpoint Garrison 250-184. So they are also coming off a hot series, whereas Team Canada are coming off that loss to BBG. So mental on either side, they're definitely in complete opposite places. And no doubt, I believe Team Canada will be able to do it again, but Trash Bros could have a little bit of momentum on their side.
Yep, and Trash Bros, looking back in Season 4, when they were playing BBG kind of the playoffs, right? You look at what Mach was able to do. The hardpoint KD leader for the region for Season 4, for the playoffs for Season 4, averaging a 1.22 KD, respectively, in Respawn. He was a hardpoint KD leader with that same KD as well. And then you have Hollow, who is the third best S&D KD, but that was all Stage 3. Going into this one, this whole season has not gone their way. We know they haven't had the same results, and maybe it was just a bit of a flash in the pan. But I have to think, going into this matchup, Fox, the fact that we have gassed up Ulysses for the past 2 seasons, because he very well could be one of the best subs in North America, but also Mach. I think Mach needs to have that X performance going into this series if they want to send this team to the playoffs tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of things have to click and align and go right for them to be able to take this series from Team Canada. I know that we can talk up Ulysses and his individual prowess as a submachine gun player. He gives us reason to, and I'm sure we're going to see a whole lot of him in this series. But the question is, will it be enough? Will he have the support that he needs from the rest of the team? Will everyone collectively be able to come together and take down Team Canada? I got to say, it's a tall order. Team Canada just seemed like the more polished team, I think.
Allie, looking at the map layout we got here, I have to again look dead center of the screen. Garrison Control. We wonder which map pick that was, but the fact that Team Canada just played it, right? The fact that they've been here, they've been playing Garrison a lot tonight. Raid has yet to come up, other than that game one we saw on the hardpoint last series to open it up. These are maps that Team Canada is banking on that they can close out. And I don't want to know about predictions just yet, but looking at the map layout itself, was there anything that stuck out to you? Because for me, it was that game 3.
For me, it was the Raid and the Garrison that were both in our rotation as we load into the Garrison right now. Once again, Trash Bros just 3-1, No One Shoots Back on Hardpoint Garrison, 250-184. So for sure, they're feeling confident already loading into this map as we see some of the first engagements go down.
And this is what's going to be the key to victory for Team Canada. You're going to need to be on your A game. Everyone needs to contribute. Speaking of contributing, welcome back to our observing team. They're so good. Shane and Kyle once again on the sticks, always giving us the best POV, and they contribute in the best possible ways. They always find the right angle to watch Call of Duty at, and they give us their very best with every single motion. We thank them so much for doing their job because we can't do ours without them doing theirs. Back to the game. Team Canada with a hot start. Usually P1's pretty contested here, and you're worried about P2, but already rotating is Exotic. He loves being top green, and you can see why. Getting a free kill off the start and looking for more.
Already a really aggressive start out of Team Canada, getting control of first 20 seconds already, and now 10 seconds going down on Old Point as we go to our new one. Team Canada are already there. That's going to be 6-7 Dav, Patty, and Exotic, who are already on rotation, where all of Trash Bros are still lagging around near Old. Now they're going to have to try and force their way not only past Royalty in mid, but maybe back into the spawn, and they do get those 2 kills, but they quickly cut into Brick. Dav Patty has something to say about that as he finds one. The trade will go out, though. Ulysses does get traded out. Very scrappy back and forth. There is just absolutely no reason for Exotic to still be alive as he finds one. He finds 2. Exotic keeping Team Canada in control of this P2 hardpoint. Already a very scary lead for the side of Trash Bros.
And Exotic staying alive is just buying time for everyone else to come help out. More contest through the front. Trash Bros putting many numbers inside, but Exotic taking many victims. At this moment, he has been uncontested. 6-1 on a 4-3 to start, and continuing on that rampage as he's looking for streaks. He's going to find a huge gunfight win, and keeping everyone alive for Team Canada in the point. Collapse for Trash Bros comes through. They finally get in with 10 seconds, but here's the takeaway on P2 as we go to P3. P1 was all of Team Canada. They rotated. Trash Bros held on for the last 8 seconds and hit the rotation late. They didn't even get into P2 until the last 8 seconds. So they're late on rotation, they're not breaking through, and they're struggling to find the kills to open up the hardpoint alley. They're getting absolutely smoked off the start, and they need to start rotating a little bit quicker if they want a chance in this game.
Painful to watch as they are just playing straight into Exotic's hands, as it seems. I mean, he is 10-2, just getting a free shot into the back of the players of Trash Bros, and they just have had no serious control. Team Canada, even though they only have about a 40-point lead, they are looking to solidify that even further here as our kill feed just continues to light up red in their favor. And not only were they early on rotation, already we see Royalty making his way in mid to force himself across the map. Trash Bros are now spawning at Old, and they're going to get stuck in a little bit of a trap here. 15 seconds left on Old. Team Canada making the rotation. They're going to be met with 2 players of Trash Bros. They will get that shut down, so maybe finally we'll see a little bit of life out of them as they get that first couple of rotation.
Exotic is top green again. He's going to hug the side of the board. 14-3. We stick on his POV. This is a perfect position for him to be in. And if he finds more kills, make it 15. He's just going to stay on this rampage and cause so much disruption for Trash Bros. No ARs will be in a position to gun him because they can't get anywhere close to the floor. Everyone else is set up for the hill. 104 and counting. Exotic can't win against Ulysses. And here comes the break that you need from Trash Bros. You need to stop the bleeding on this hill. Finally, they work their way in. For the first time this game, they have broken into a hard point with more than 30 seconds to go, but it doesn't last very long. They're getting wiped out of the point, and Mock can't win the gunfight. Here's the collapse from Team Canada. It's crumbling so quickly, and every time they get inside for a decent chunk of time, there's 3 members looking right down the barrel of their sights, and Team Canada shoot right back off the 2-piece from Dav Patty. There's the break-in lights, there's the hold, and there's the time for Team Canada. This is not great for Trash Bros.
The fact that 3 members of Trash Bros were surrounding that hill and none of the players were inside of it is very questionable to me. Team Canada is making this look a little bit too easy. Trash Bros has continuously thrown bodies at Old Hills with maybe 15 or less seconds left, and then still allowed 2 players of Team Canada to rotate for a new, which we're watching once again here. We're sitting at 130-26. Exotic is beaming, playing absolutely lights out at 19-4 on a 4 spree, looking to go 20-4. He will finally get shut down, and maybe a little bit, never mind, I was going to say some control on the Trash Bros. Then Royalty finds a 2-piece. All of Team Canada are wanting to shut this out very quickly and very easily.
And it's not just, Exotic going quadruple positive. It's the fact that everyone else cleans up the kills as well. They're getting 3 dead constantly. You can't fight this head-to-head if you're Trash Bros. You can't fight 4 at a time. You're constantly having to play 2v4s near the hill. It just won't work your way. We're getting very close to a dangerous preposition, and that being a 30-point club. It won't happen, but you need to break. You need to start getting some time back into your Trash Bros. Those kills through lights will help slow this game down. It doesn't mean isolating Exotic. It means firing back and getting your subs in a position to retaliate as the ARs lock down some power lanes. You need to find a way to respond. So far, Couple of kills will do it, but once more, 3 more dead. Constantly, Trash Bros are playing at a numbers disadvantage. They need to slow down and work together.
I don't even know if slowing down and work
God.
together could save them at this point. I mean, 178 to 33. Trash Bros not early. Were they early on rotation onto P1? They didn't even get the chance to get a second or two. Team Canada, 3 members in mid, just picked them off like it was absolutely nothing. And not only that, they now have control once again. They're about to break the 200 mark. Trash Bros looking here to possibly get 100 points above this. This is their club.
I mean, these team trades are so smooth, but it's not even requiring much effort. We go to P2. Let's go to our next set of hills on our rotation. And early there again, Team Canada. I don't really know what to say when Ulysses is 8 and 20. Hollow still has a position currently in lights, and you're looking at Jinshred, right, to kind of lead the charge, and Ulysses is slacking behind. Hollow not doing much. Royalty getting 3 kills, and one's on the outside as Hollow and Mox spawn back up with Ulysses. Royalty staying on his POV. You damn bet we are. He's finding everything. Everyone's dropping. They're not even standing a chance. You can't get anywhere near the hard point. What do you do in this situation if you're Trash Bros? You have to find a way to not be your name. You're getting smoked off the map. You can't kill anything. You're 8 and 22 for Ulysses. This is unreal. Royalty is on a 10 spree. This just can't happen.
Did we accidentally get to a public match, Spaceman? I mean, this is rough to watch. The Royalty finally gets shut down, but Team Canada are just going through the fundamental motions of hardpoint at this point. They're just sitting and soaking up time, pre-aiming exactly where Trash Bros are funneling in. I mean, it's not a shock Team Canada win the first hardpoint 250 to 35. What do we do?
on a map that they won earlier. They
convincingly as well too, 250 to 184. Like it wasn't like it was a close game.
Like this was not close. This was not a close game, and we're not trying to harp on it, but I mean,
I think we should harp on it.
What do we say in this situation where this, it's game 1. Game 1s of series can go any specific way in any measure of any extreme. You have plenty more to come back through. But all of the replays we have are Team Canada. That tells you everything you need to know. And for a series and a match that's so important, for a hard point to start that's so important, you can't afford to come out this slow. There was no response. There was a couple of times where they had maybe 2-3 dead. I don't think we saw Team Canada get full wiped off the board once. That was just pure dominance, and it was just an outclassing. This was just an outmatching of what Team Canada put on the board.
The thing is like I want to say that they got outgunned. I mean, they just weren't winning gunfights. I mean, there's some times where it's, there's little things that they could have fixed, but I mean, they weren't getting their gunfights. They weren't slaying at all. They weren't getting early rotation wins. They weren't getting early rotation kills. And even then, they would throw bodies at an old point for 15 or less seconds and not even get an early rotation through, even when they were in the prime position to do so. And there's just like they just slipped up here. It's fundamental hard point. It felt like they weren't even doing it.
We were looking at P5 at one point, and Trash Bros were trying to get over 30 points, and I said, they're going to get to 30, but you got to start bringing it back. You got to have a presence in lights. We went to P1 and P2. They didn't get a single second on any of those hills after that. They were spawn trapped, and they weren't winning gunfights. I mean, when Royalty picked up those 2 kills and then turned around and found the 3rd, at that point, the game was done. Like, there is no chance Trash Bros are winning this. And again, we don't want to harp on it, but we have to, because they didn't do anything in that hard point, and it's hard to predict how a series is going to go when a team just struggled so mightily. But maybe that, if we're going to kind of mold this and try to turn this into something positive, maybe that is the takeaway. You did nothing in that hard point, so you're still at square one. You're still at basically net zero. Go into the raid, shake everything off. Game 1 literally didn't happen, and just try to play this series as if you're playing a best of 3 at this point. You have to be able to shake that off, because I mean, you did nothing. So Allie.
You did nothing. That's it. We walk out the door, put it down. It's really unfortunate because I know we've talked a lot about apparently Ulysses is supposed to be, one of our top sub players, and I mean he just got completely shut out.
Yeah.
And for us to be in the losers bracket 6 months into the game, do or die situation right here, you can't have games like game one. Unfortunately, you just can't. At this point, at this caliber of competitiveness, you just can't have those game ones. And now going into S&D, I'm just worried again. And we are, digging into Trash Bros really bad, and that sucks. But there's only so much we can say after a map like that. There's just not a whole lot of light at the end of the tunnel. This team, I don't feel like they meshed very well together from the beginning, and it seems they weren't able to work out their quirks at all anyway. And Team Canada, Exotic is angry. He is so upset from that loss to BBG. He wants to get this done fairly quickly, and Royalty just fed off that energy, and Team Canada 100% predict them to just absolutely run with it.
Royalty's been lights out today, but Exotic came out like 19-4. That is one of the hottest starts I've seen him have this entire year, let alone years as a whole. Like he looked mad, like you said. He came out with a purpose, but they didn't have to work that hard. I mean, again, the takeaway off the start was, which we talked about, Trash Bros were not rotating. They were getting to the hill with 8 seconds left. They were bunching up, and then they were taking their time to rotate, but they weren't breaking the hill. So late rotations only get paid off if you break. They didn't do both of those. And when they were rotating late, they were getting to the hill with 8 seconds left. By that time, Team Canada's gone, dude. Like, they have just said, see ya, we're going to the next one. So we go into Raid S&D. Let's focus on the moment. Let's focus on what Trash Bros can do right. What they can do right is they can slow the game down. With Exotic playing as hot as he is, and with Royalty able to pop off on 10 sprees whenever he wants, this is when you really need to just calm down, get Hollow and Jintroid and Mach in positions to succeed, specifically Mach. He is your AR presence. Ulysses is one of your best subs. You need to calm down as a roster, take your time, work together, read through your progressions, and find that confidence in your shot again. And it comes through team trades. That's how you get players confident in your shot. They need to trade together effectively. So far, they get tied up 3v2. Team Canada have the lead.
Hollow left out on his own at the B site as all of Team Canada push up the spawns and clean up what was left of Trash Bros. He could have a 1v3 here if he possibly isolates a couple gunfights, shoot a couple players in the back and catch him off guard, but he gets shot through, he gets caught out, and Daft Petty's going to quickly shut that down. Team Canada already up 1-0 in the S&D. Now this is a strat we see very frequently on Raid, just pushing up right up into the spawn of the defensive players, and you'd think, they'd be a little bit more prepared for that than they were. And watch Diamond Con here shut down Mach, and the fact that Hollow was so far across the map, I mean, that's just genuinely unfortunate, because not only are you not able to help your teammates, you're forcing them into a 3v4 situation in a map and mode that typically has the same strat every single time. Push up the A site, get into spawn, catch them by surprise, and hopefully just get a couple trades through. So unfortunate for Trash Bros for sure.
Well, Jintroid's the only one to find a kill so far. And these first bloods are going to basically spell out the rounds for you, especially on a map like Raid where you can collapse and just pick players off as they rotate. Mach's able to find one. Trade will be there regardless. Exotic picking up that Krieg. The bomb down. And we'll see how they play it, because the slow rotation through the back line will be there for Trash Bros. And Exotic is planting for Art side. This is going to be tough. Royalty will drop. Hollow with a great nade. Here comes the retake. Jintroid just flying out, trying to find the player. He's going to get it. 3v1, 3v none. Wonderful retake from Trash Bros, working together, trusting the gunfights, and they tie up this S&D.
Completely agree. Fantastic retake from them, and Jintroid to heat up to go 3-1 on a 2 streak is exactly what they needed for a little bit of a momentum switch for the side of Trash Bros. Now, Jintroid is a little bit of a slow starter, so maybe he could flip this series on his head, as it looks like he's looking to heat up in this.
Again, just meet the pace, change the way you play, and trust each other. The team trades in that hard point were there for Team Canada. They were unbelievable. Every time Royalty would go on a spree, even when he died, there was 3 more kills that were falling because Team Canada were in a position to clean up his scraps. If you're Trash Bros, you have to find a way to contribute together like Team Canada did, and we know you can. We absolutely know you can. You're Season 4 champions of North American Elite. You've done it before. You just have to find a way to get that mental confidence back. And off the start, the spawn peak's good for 2, possibly 3. Royalty's going to back out of the window, and Dad Patty playing on a close angle at pull steps. This is a wonderful start for Trash Bros.
Fantastic first two bloods out of them. So now they have not only numbers, but they can get control of either side that they wish because Team Canada is spread out so far. Dav Patty is on the B side, making his way through mid, and Royalty is just trying to stay alive at this point as he's getting chased down by a couple of players. Dav Patty, though, is able to connect some shots onto Hollow and force this into a 2v3. 3 players inside Trash Bros are now on the other side of Statue here. Dav Patty almost sucks out Jintroid. He manages to stay alive. Trophy on his side. Dav Patty just trying to connect shots. Oh my god, he takes down Ulysses. Now he just has to wait for his teammate. Unfortunately, Dav Patty does get shut down, so Royalty is left in a 1v2. If anyone's going to do it, it will be him. He does find one. Bomb still needs to go down. 27 seconds left. Jintroid, are you going to go for the long wrap to the B site? Looks like he might do it. Jintroid's going to get caught. Oh, with the snap. The beautiful snap from Jintroid. Gets the round, so Trash Bros go up 2-1.
This is how the round started, by the way. It was a 4v2 for a minute and a half. And what quickly turned to a 1v1. A round win's a round win. But that is a very close way to get it done. 5-1 for Jintroid on a 4 spree. You're going to try to play him for streaks and feed him information at this point. And I was sitting there watching Dav Patty thinking, if he's able to find that one at back rock with the nade, if he's able to find anyone at white truck, I mean, this round becomes a disaster. But Trash Bros get the lead. See what they do now. Splitting their resources and their information over to both sites. It's a long flank from Mock, but he's just going to wait and hold at the back rock. And with those warning shots, this is what you do if you're Team Canada. You try to get bombed down quickly and just hold the line. The slide out from Jintroid will get first blood.
Jintroid is just playing lights out in this S&D 5 spree, 6-1. They have to shut him down if they want to come back at all. Even though it's only down 2-1, you have to shut him down here soon. Bomb is now out in no man's land next to the A site. 2 players, Royalty and Exotic, are left in a 2v3. Not impossible. It's Royalty is hoping to make it a 2v2. Exotic cleans up the kill. Bomb still does need to go down, though. 35 seconds on the clock. Hollow and Jintroid kind of split up a little bit on their own. Jintroid finds one, though, and he finds both of them. The trades were not there. Exotic looked the wrong way. An absolute freebie as we're going to watch that once again. Jintroid just patiently waits. He finds one, and Exotic did not slide out for the trade. No shots got into Jintroid as he able to get to 1v2 in Garage.
Slow and steady wins the race. One round at a time. Trash Bros have confidence. Jintroid has streaks. He's got an artillery. And you're up 3-1. Spawn peek again. Who's going to die first? So far, no one. It's basically a flat line spread. A line segment across the map for Team Canada. As they are playing around that first blood potential, but they don't see anything B. And now if you're Trash Bros, how long do you wait to make a move and at least going to find some info? So Jintroid knows they're in the back and they can't contest bomb if it's put down towards pillars, but with one sliding out, you don't want to put it down yet. Hollow will find first blood. That helps. Mock finds the second. Now the site can get opened up. Now you can start thinking about rotating. And Diamond Con and Dav Patty have to make a heroic play as Dav Patty finds 2. 1v2 again.
I wonder if Diamond Con knows that Bomb is out in B side. Oh my god, as he almost cleans up Mock, unfortunately unable to finish the kill. He does manage to stay alive though. Bomb is out in the middle. I wonder if he knows he had to, but he doesn't win the gunfight. Trash Bros 4-1 in the S&D. Not what we expected at all, as they have flipped this series on its head since our first match.
Just clinical across the board. Team shots there. Communication there. They're catching Team Canada moving into their setups and right on the off timings as they rotate out. They're doing a very good job of reading through the game. As Team Canada are down 4-1. And it's not for lack of trying. I mean, they 5 kills for Dav Patty, 2 and 4 apiece for a Diamond Con and Exotic. I mean, that's a fine scoreline. But they've just been losing the team battle. And Trash Bros with a very nice regain so far in this S&D. Let's see if it continues. Shots ring out. Ulysses going right down pull steps. Might run into Dav Patty if he's feeling a little zealous. And here comes a challenge. Dry peek. Couple shoulders. That hits something. No first blood.
Couple of tacticals out to get a little bit of information. Jintroid 8-2. Gonna need to shut him down here as Royalty's just waiting for any sort of information in mid here. Nobody really making too much of a move. Team Canada hoping to slow it down here, maybe throw them a little bit off of their pace. Jintroid, you can see him moving around. He is just itching for a player to peek this corner. So on board with Hollow. Doesn't know Royalty's there. He's still not going to know as Royalty and the Bomb rotate their way over to the A site. Bomb's probably going to get planted fairly quickly here as there's only 30 seconds on the clock.
Streaks are getting called. This is a huge investment for Trash Bros. If it doesn't pay off, you know what we talk about. Well, it gets one, and Mach gets the first blood, so 4v2, you gotta win it now. That'll help things. In a 1v4 situation, Diamondcon would have the biggest round of the day if he's able to pull this off somehow. With Bomb down, he's gonna get one in the back. 1v3. They should just push this and push him hard. Diamondcon's still alive. And he's roaming, not for long though. They're getting pushed from every single angle. 5-1. A complete rebound in this game too. 10-2 for Jintroid, leading the way. Ulysses still having a slow series, but with Jintroid putting 10 kills on the board, and we're only 6 rounds in, yeah, that'll probably do it.
It's exactly what you said. They pretended that first map did not happen, and Jintroid has absolutely turned up into this search and destroy. And Team Canada, they just have yet to pull it back in their favor. Again, across the board, it doesn't look like KD-wise, at least they're doing too terribly, but Jintroid is just doing so well as Mach. He is now on a 4 spree, 6 and 4. Jintroid 10 and 2 respectively on a 2 spree, and Hollow as well is on a 3 spree of his own at 4 and 2. So he has tripled his KDA even in just the past round. Bomb going for a quick mid push on to B.
Jintroid is putting close to around roughly 2 kills a round. So, I mean, just mathematically, he's giving you an advantage every time he's alive. Royalty should win this gunfight. Oh God, Ulysses just escapes with 9 health. Do they push him? You have 2 numbers split up for Team Canada. They're going to try to pinch together and work this together. Only problem is, how long does it take? Players in top mansion will send out warning shots to 7 and 6. That's Diamondcon and Exotic. Ulysses, 3 kill in front, gets it. Here comes Dab Patty.
He does go in Dab Patty's favor as you lose just a little bit too weak, but again, 16 seconds left. Exotic is left in a 1v3. He could do it, but Jintroid has just been so good. Trash Bros take the S&D 6 and 1. Space, I wonder if this is going to be the continuous fashion in this series where any map that's won is just done in the most convincingly fashion, as we've seen not only from the Hardpoint but now from the S&D as well. But I mean, flipped on its head, now tied 1-1 in this series. I don't know what to think.
Well, I kind of want to look back real quick to how that last series went for Team Canada when they played BBG, right? Because they were on the receiving end of this. They blew the game open in the hard point, they lost it, and then they went to the S&D, acted like it never happened, smoked BBG, and then lost the rest of the series. So I don't know if Team Canada are going to take some notes from that and try to do the same thing, but Trash Bros quite literally acted like Game 1 never happened, and that was the best possible situation. The best result they could have had was coming in here and winning like 6-0, 6-1, 6-2. And they did it. They won 6-1, and it was off the back of Jintroid dropping 10, 11, 12 kills, something like that. But the team chemistry, the coordination, the shots were there. The trust in your teammates to win the individuals was there. And the confidence is starting to come back. I don't know if Game 1 was just a rough game all around, if it was just, you know, not the right vibes, the communication was off, or they just didn't show up mentally. Regardless, that is the best possible way to come back in a series. And, you know, that is why these boys are in this position, because you can have games where you don't show up, and then the very next one, you just blow the doors open. This Control is going to decide everything. It's going to decide everything in this series, and Control tends to do that. We wait for the players to get going. But, Allie, kind of your thoughts on the S&D so far, and going into Control, what are you thinking about these teams? Who do you think is going to take the lead?
It's just an absolute bounce back. I mean, Trash Bros completely turned my mental on its head with that search and destroy. I mean, that's exactly what they needed to do for themselves and for the series in general. And Jintroid, if he continues on that hot streak going into this Control, this could be a scarier series for Team Canada for sure. But again, last time these two teams faced each other, Team Canada smoked Trash Bros when a team came to Control. So it's a double-edged sword. Trash Bros could be hungry for revenge, and Team Canada could be very comfortable in the fact that they beat them once and they'll do it again. So I don't know. I'm not favoring either side just quite yet, Sean.
It's going to be an interesting one. Again, we would love to know what you guys think in the YouTube chat. Who you picking in this matchup? Here's the maps for the series, folks. Team Canada won game 1. Trash Bros just won game 2. You just saw it. It was pretty cool. Garrison Control coming up next, followed by Checkmate, which we will be going to in map 4. And if we need map 5, it's going to be Moscow S&D. That is going to be a very interesting matchup. But until we get to that point, Garrison Hardpoint and Checkmate Control. Again, map mode combos that are far too frequent and far too known in the competitive Call of Duty scene, in Challengers at this point. We've been playing these combos for 6 months, something like that. So this entire time, this is where all that practice comes to. And we're about 2 maps away, potentially 3, from deciding who goes to the playoff bracket tomorrow. But I got to tell you, if Team Canada don't end up winning this series, just talking about storylines, right? If Team Canada don't win this series, that's going to be one of the hardest ways to lose a series, knowing how well you played in game 1, how clicking everybody was. Trash Bros just need to take it one game at a time, one map at a time. And for Team Canada, find that same fire and energy and passion you had in the first game and come back out, get everyone on the same page, and try to take another respawn. Because so far, the S&D has been all of TB, and you don't want it to go to game 5.
I completely agree, and as we load into the Garrison Control, we are once again reminded of our Garrison Hardpoint in the beginning of the series. So at this point, Trash Bros, they showed a lot of life in that S&D, taking it 6-1. I mean, flipped the series in general on its head, and now they need to win a respawn. Unfortunately, you can't take a series without at least one respawn under your belt, and if any of the modes is going to be on, it's going to be on this control. That's very true. We will see how things go. And off the start, you're already looking for a couple of first bloods, but so far only one. Trash Bros able to find it as Royalty works his way towards P4. He finds one trying to work up to top green, but trades are back and forth, and numbers for Trash Bro currently inside the point. They're working on that first ticket A, or excuse me, B. They will get it. 28-26. Exotic now in the lights, can't find anything, but this should be a decent chunk of time here for Trash Bros to lock down B, and so far they're halfway through that second ticket. I mean, the kill feed is just continuing to light up white as Trash Bros are looking to continue their streaking from that S&D. Mock and Hollow 3-0 respectively on the streak. Team Canada need to stop the bleeding and stop it quick as the 2-piece lights up for their side as they are looking to put a stop to all the progression on both sides. Minute 7 to go. Team Canada will get on to B and slowly decap the progress that's been made. A is already locked down for 1. Overtimes in control have changed in the past 2 months. It means that it's overall ticks, not kills. So even if you don't win the round, you want to get as many ticks as possible. Exotic working to the back, can't clean up anything. Able to get 1, but teammates are there for support, and they do all the dirty work as Ulysses finds 2. Royalty now flying in at 2 and 3, but he will leave off and watch the spawns coming in. Do Trash Bros recognize that numbers are not currently in lights? Ulysses so far so good, having a very good start to this game, and a better one than the last 2 combined. But even with Trash Bros getting onto the point, Team Canada have been there to contest. Absolutely, and B has still yet to be capped. I mean, there is 28 seconds left on the clock. They need to get into that point, and that point now. Team Canada, though, are hanging onto this defense, just not allowing any player to get past mid-map. Hollow tried to do something, but he will get shut down in mid. Kill feed lighting up red. Trash Bros have about 10 seconds to get into this point. Mock finds 2, but Canada answers with 2 of their own. I don't believe anyone will be close enough to contest. And right now, you just want to get to B. That's the #1 call. Get your numbers into B. Try to fight the fight in lights. Can't get the second kill. Here comes Jintroid. Does he recognize the challenge just in lights? He does, but it waits a little bit too long in the hesitation. Might cost him in the round. There's the killing spree from Dav Patty. And Team Canada get round 1 on the board on the defensive end. A very nice job to hold the line with those diamond hands on B. And they don't allow anyone from Trash Bros to continue on the progress. And now they go to the offensive side, which will be a little bit more dangerous as Trash Bros are on the back foot. The aggression at Trash Bros right in the beginning of that round was very scary for the likes of Team Canada, but they quickly put a stop to it and end up now going up 1-0 in the control. Very favorable situation for them after that search and destroy. Just look on the side of Exotic. Once again, heating up on Garrison. He is 7 and 4, and Dav Patty is actually on a 4 streak despite being only 5 and 4, meaning he has tripled his KDA count in just mere moments. Royalty again 5 and 5, being consistent as ever. Now, as we see some of our first opening engagements going down, it looks like it's in the favor of Team Canada. We'll see how they play it again. This will all come down to those stat leaders. We talk about kind of, where Mock, Diamond Con, Royalty. Mock can blow the game open, but how much of an impact will he be making as Ulysses is off to a hot start?
Hollow in the same situation. Jintroid slowly a little bit behind, but still plenty of time to be played. Dad Patty working the top green will get the kill. One more back radar, but so far so good. Shots ring out. Ulysses coming off spawn, and Jintroid working at the bottom of the floor. Teammates are there for the trades and the cleanup. Progress continues at B uncontested. Team Canada should be able to put a minute on the clock and work over towards A. And Dad Patty needs to hold on to this position in the catwalk top green. As long as he's here, there is always pressure that can be applied at both B and A. And if Dad Patty can stay alive, here comes a challenge and a slide. Dad Patty recognizes it, trying to bamboozle, but runs the wrong way. It would have paid off in strong dividends down the line for Team Canada. Trash Bros back on the point, defending a 90.
Dad Patty's probably one of the last people you want being into that top green power position, and it was good for Trash Bros to make that commitment to take him out. But B is looking to be capped. Team Canada trying to force their way into mid. They still have 40 seconds to work with. 2 ticks onto the B site, and Dad Patty 8 and 6. Once he gets up on that top ridge again, it could be very scary. But Trash Bros are looking to shut it down very convincingly as they 4-wipe Team Canada in mid map.
Well, these team wipes were something that were sorely missed in that opening hard point. And now that it's coming through, you can feel the impact it has. Ulysses at 10 and 7. Welcome back to the series, my friend. You've been an absolutely electric presence all season. And what you're doing now is certainly helping your team. With 10 seconds to go, this should be a defensive win. Back-to-back for both teams. 6 seconds. No one in the realm of possibility will touch B. Closest player, I believe, is Diamondcon. Maybe Royalty. Doesn't even matter. Trash Bros get it back, and we go to another chance on offense for Trash Bros to put a point on the board.
In the traditional sense of control, it's always been, every team kind of wins their defensive rounds, and it's whoever can take the offensive first. It's not the tales of what have happened in our earlier series up to date, but it looks like it might be the tale of this control as both teams are looking to hold on to their defensive rounds. It's all about who can be over-aggressive and take that first offensive round now as we hop on board with Trash Bros being in that position. Mock and Yuli are both 11 and 7. Ulysses is on a 5 spree. We're going to want to shut him down here soon so that he cannot allow to work towards streaks, because should he get streaks in this situation, Team Canada might as well sign the round off. Now, what's crazy about these kill counts is that Exotic is 8 and 9, Dad Patty 8 and 7, Diamondcon is 5 and 11. A very slow start for him, so should we see him heat up anytime soon, this could be a little bit of a different game.
Yeah, well, Ulysses has been firing on all cylinders, and the subs on the other side. I mean, you look at Exotic, you look at Royalty. I mean, sure, they had an okay start, but they're not matching the pace of Ulysses, and that's the problem, is how long will it take? With a minute to go, and players on B, really only one for Jintroid, but numbers around there just in case to be a Guardian Angel. As he challenges and lights and loses the gunfight. Sliding on out, the defense will hold. Mock is inside. Royalty up first. And they challenge for a defensive win. Keeping numbers off the point. Things have slowed down mightily in this game and on this map. All tied up in life count, 26 apiece. But the defense is committing over to A when really the pressure is on B.
Can't decide. Team Canada haven't looked like they decided to chalk the B side. I wonder if it was a little bit of miscommunication there, but 3 members were able to push up to the mid side, but the ticking is still going down on the B side. It should get capped here unless Exotic and Diamondcon managed to do some miraculous stuff here as 3 members of Trash Bros are stacking the point. That should be all of B gone now. Life count pretty even across the board. Number 8, though, Dad Patty is looking to make his way up towards spawn. He will get caught out by Hollow, and that's just another life down. A little bit of a reset in our game here as a minute and 40 is added to the clock, and Team Canada are set up for the defensive hold onto the A site. Ulysses, though, looking to invest streaks that he did end up getting, which I said could be an absolute turning point in this round, and it will be as they are able to flood onto the site. Ulysses manages to stay alive, although taking down a teammate, and Hollow will get taken down in bricks, but now that's going to be mocking Ulysses on the point. Never mind, Diamondcon and Dad Patty have something to say about that as a reset button has been hit once again.
And with how well Trash Bros have been playing in this game, Team Canada have had a life lead for some time now. Not so much here, but the defense is holding up. It's bending. It's not breaking just yet. Contesting from the top of the stairs. Exotic slides in and wins a big gunfight like he does so many times. Diamondcon coming off spawn needs to help out with those 2 ARs currently in the top of the screen. Ulysses working his way through the back. They're flying right onto his head, and he wins the gunfight anyway. Exotic, next victim down. This is a huge break on offense. And with all of that time going over towards the A-tick, Dad Patty's just going to streak it, and I don't blame him. This is a huge round for the game. They're going to fall off the point, and once that first strike goes down, then you push. Exotic's going to get Ulysses. Hollow won't stand for long. And there is the collapse and the hold on defense from Team Canada that they sorely needed in this one. All the kills going their way. Well done from the boys in red.
Unfortunately, outside Trash Bros, their streaks got a bit wasted. We're on the side of Team Canada. It saved them the round. Without that, the three-piece from Ulysses, allowing his team to stack on the point, that would have been all she wrote for Team Canada in this offensive round. Thankfully, Daft Petty was able to keep them alive and continues to do so. Trash Bros have a couple more pushes in them, though, but Team Canada is holding strong in this defensive hold. As your kill feed lights up red, nobody is getting anywhere close to the point anytime soon.
This is a huge round in this game 3 and the series itself. Only one more needed if Team Canada hold on. As Mock is trying to make some miracles happen currently in lights, and usually the bricks is the call, but you need your subs to lead the charge. Ulysses is that man. Can he do it? Sliding on out. Royalty for the challenge, Royalty for the win. 2 dead. One more for Gintroid. Can't get it. That's a full wipe. That's the round. Team Canada will be up 2-1, and they only need one more round to win this control, go up 2-1 in the series, and go right into a checkmate hardpoint.
It's very unfortunate because I know from the sidelines it's very easy to say that Trash Bros, if only they just waited for each other a little bit more and pushed into bricks together. It feels like they kept sending just maybe one person into bricks to maybe hopefully get a 2-piece like Ulysses was able to. But unfortunately, those only come every once in a while. So to only send one person into bricks, I feel like was a little bit of their downfall, where if they had just slowed down, wait for all of their teammates, flood into bricks together as a team, maybe the situation would have been a little bit different for the side of Trash Bros. But Team Canada, beautiful defense by then. They needed to win that round desperately, especially with the investment out of Daft Patty, and now they are up 2-1 in control going for match point. Now that momentum is on their side as they need to take this offensive round.
Royalty's in B. How do you spread out? We haven't seen many just go for A right off the rip, but Diamondcon able to find one, and the trades there from Exotic. That'll make it that much easier. 10 and 15, he's turned things around. Everyone's on a 4 spree except Royalty. Keep that in the back of your mind. Mathematically, they should get close to streaks. And if Trash Bros recognize that, they need these next few kills as soon as possible to stop streaks from coming in. He is almost done. Ulysses is on the floor. He gets absolutely smoked. This is the Team Canada we saw in Game 1. And we will wait. We will hold on here. It's currently 2-1. He was close to streaks. A minute 13 on the clock, 28 to 25. Let me write that down real quick. A 2-1 lead for Team Canada, and that is
Diamondcon does streaks for sure.
With how this game was going, with how that round was going, the fact that streaks were going to be in play. A very heartbreaking way for that game to end, but we will, again, try to keep you guys updated with what we understand, what we know, what we're told. But, Ali, what we can discuss while we wait is talking about the resurgence from Team Canada. Trash Bros came out hot. Team Canada basically said, we're going to hold on to defense, let you waste streaks, and we're just going to pummel you into the ground. Like Fox said earlier, you can't guard for getting punched in the mouth because everything else breaks down. Team Canada came out into that round number 4, and they were just playing lights out. It looked like it was on pace to end within a minute's time.
What's a little unfortunate about the streaks being called on both sides is when you're on the offensive side, it's really good to call streaks, obviously, to force the enemy team into bricks and kind of push your way out. But once you're out there, and if the enemy team has bricks, has streaks, there's only one place for you to go, and that's green, especially if you don't have any brick control. And once you're in green, it's almost impossible to get right back out onto that A site. And so it definitely favored Team Canada for both sides to have streaks regardless. And just to have Patty in general, just playing as consistent as he does, I think is really a leading head for the side of Team Canada, especially. And it is definitely unfortunate, as I believe Diamondcon did get streaks. He was on a 6 spree, and I believe that Patty again was close as well. So yeah. I'm sure we're going to wait to load back into that game. But Team Canada, a huge resurgence out of them for sure. Yeah,
Diamondcon was working on the next streak ahead. He was working on the cruise missile, and we're just being told that the whole lobby had an issue. So we'll make sure we get everybody back in and ready to go. But the sad thing about that, right, is just not that Diamondcon was the only one. Like, you had 3 members that were about to get streaks, so that would have secured the game right there. That ends this game, and we go to a hard point with a 2-1 series lead for Team Canada. So again, we will find out what happens. We'll find out how things work. But at this moment, we just wait for all players to be good to go. And this series has been exciting. The game 1 hardpoint was a blowout. It was 250 to 35. The game 2 was 6-1. Trash Bros bounced back, and it was back and forth in the first 2 rounds in this control. But after that, Team Canada turned on the afterburners, and the Jets kicked in. and they've kind of been just sailing through this. But Allie, quickly, let's get some ideas about how this series has gone for Trash Bros. Any takeaways specifically for me? Ulysses is back, but is there anything you need to see from them going into the rest of the series?
Consistency at this point. I know sometimes we want to just kind of chalk off the first map as if it didn't happen, but now as we're going into this control, they're seeming to fall behind just a little bit as well from the momentum that we were watching from Team Canada. And you just need a little bit more consistency. You can't have maps like map 1, because not only it puts you in a very disadvantaged situation. Mentally, to lose a map getting 40-point clubbed, going to the rest of the series must be incredibly hard. So to put that burden on themselves, I think they just need to work on being more consistent.
Yeah, we'll see if they're able to pull that off. Again, we will keep you guys updated with everything we understand. But until we get to that point, we will throw it to a commercial break. And when we come back, hopefully we'll have the conclusion of that control and the conclusion of this series. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Welcome back from the break, everybody. We have some updates to share with you. So here's how the situation works. Everybody basically dropped from the lobby. We don't know if it was a host thing, whatever. Everybody dropped. And given the situation in that control, it was up 2-1 to Team Canada. They were on sprees. 3 members were close to streaks, and 1 had them already. And they were already up in the life count in the round at 28 to 25, and they just needed A at that point. Because of that, we have decided, and the teams have decided more specifically, that Team Canada would have won that round and deserved to win that round. And because of that, they've all agreed to part ways on the control. Team Canada will take the control 3-1, and they will move into the hard point. So all is said and done. Everybody was having streaks, and that just means they were going to win the game. Let's move on. Let's go to the hard point. So now here's the situation for the series. First hard point went to Team Canada, 250 to 35. Game 2, 6-2 win for Trash Bros and S&D. Game 3, we just discovered. And Game 4 is a hard point. We go to checkmate. This is a situation where if you're Team Canada, you're literally in the driver's seat of going to tomorrow. Don't blow this. If you're Trash Bros, you're going to get mad. You're going to get upset. You're like, this is terrible. We should be playing better. This should have never happened. Maybe we could have had a comeback. Use that to fuel yourself going into the hard point. Get the job done. Both of these sides have a lot on the line here. Winner of this series goes to the playoff bracket tomorrow. Loser does not. Allie, look at the series as a whole. Talk to me.
I'm favoring Team Canada 100% going into this, but I will say the shining light for Trash Bros, their light at the end of the tunnel, if they're able to come back into this series during this hard point, is that if Jintroid and Ulysses are able not only to go off as we saw them in the Search and Destroy, if they can get plane control, if those two can get control of plane above and under, I feel like maybe we'll have a bit of a different game on our hands. But should they not be able to do that, should they not be able to shut down the lights of Exotic, of Royalty, then we are definitely looking at a game that might be very roughly going in Team Canada's favor.
Yeah, if we're guaranteed to go to Game 5, this is where things get dicey. But we got checkmate hard point. Before we came back from the break, we were sitting here and I was saying, Diamondcon, Royalty, Exotic, if these boys are playing like they played in that Game 1, or even 80% of what they did in Game 1, this is not going to be a close hard point. This is going to be a very quick night. We're going to bed on time. If you're Trash Bros, you need to come out, establish a rhythm at mid-map, control the plane, rotate early, and make sure you work as a team like you did in that S&D. It is very doable. It is very likely we could go to a Game 5, but it all depends off the opening break because we established the game on that Garrison hardpoint for Game 1. We established the entirety of the game on that first map. We established the entirety of the game on those first 2 hills. We said Trash Bros is not rotating and Team Canada are shooting back. After that, the entire game was out of Trash Bros' hands. They couldn't do anything. These first 2 or 3 hills on checkmate are going to decide this hardpoint. Allie, what are you thinking going into this?
No, I completely agree, and the fact that Trash Bros has yet to really get their footing on a respawn in this series, I mean, there has to be a change. I mean, when it comes to the hardpoint alone, they need to work on getting that early rotation, but not only that, they need to win the early rotation gun fights. That's something where, you know, a couple times I saw them a little early to the next hill, but they just did not win the rotational fight, so therefore they got like 2 seconds, and then they were instantly wiped by the side of Team Canada. If that was just a bad map for them, we don't know, but we should be finding coming up into this next hardpoint on checkpoint as well. Like I said, plane control is going to be detrimental when it comes to both of these teams.
It certainly will. And if you're looking at plane control, I got to be looking at like Diamondcon and Exotic to be in that position. I would look at usually Dylan Rex to be up there as well. And we wait for a couple more players to get into the lobby. But looking at this, Jintroid and Ulysses, those 2, this is your key. We always talk about Mock, and sure, we will continue to, but Jintroid and Ulysses fired back in that control. I give him all the props in the world. He bounced back. He was lighting it up. Jintroid, we're still kind of waiting for. If Jintroid and Ulysses are that duo and they turn it on like they did in Season 4, we're going to Game 5. We're absolutely going. There's no doubt in my mind. But we need to see them do it. And we need to see them do it in this checkmate hardpoint, which is going to be a difficult map to do it on because the ARs will eat. We know what Dav Patty and Diamondcon can bring to the table. We know what Royalty and Exotic can do by taking over the game. We just wait for everybody to get in. But again, we would love to know your predictions in the YouTube chat. Please let us know who you're picking in this series. Is it going the way you expected? Is it not? Are you just enjoying the games? We are as well. And we are waiting for just all the players to get together and make sure they want to join up. But Allie, looking at the day as a whole, right? We've already put 1 through into playoffs tomorrow. BBG moved through. Team Canada lost to them. They come down here. There's a lot riding on this. There's a lot riding for both professional pride, ego, bragging rights, sure, but you got Exotic, Diamondcon, Dab Patty, and Royalty. You know, a team of 4 that if they don't make it to playoffs, this whole season was kind of a waste at that point. There's so much talent for them to be in this position. And you could say the same thing about the other side, right? But the veteranness on this Team Canada roster is what sticks out most on paper. And if they don't get to tomorrow, I think a lot of people will question, you know, what is the future of this team as a whole, and what are the future of these players? Because this is probably a matchup they probably should win.
Probably should win, sure, but I mean, you look at the challengers as a whole and all of the players combined, especially a lot of the former professionals that have dropped down and have to play in, you know, the challengers, you know, ring, and it's just been it's been insane. And my favorite takeaway, especially for the former pros at least, is for some of them this has kind of reignited the passion in them. For some of them it has reignited that fire because of the grind that is challengers and the amount of work that these younger players put in. It's kind of forced them to rethink again and kind of get that fire for competing and to putting in the work and grinding and having to play against so many high caliber players. Challengers is full of talent, and it is getting tossed and turned and hot potatoed back and forth between rosters and teams. And it is just a pit. And, you know, to be able to drop down, I feel like it's almost an opportunity for some of these former professional players to kind of get back on top of their game.
I thought you were going to say tossed and turned and churned. I was like, it rhymes, yes. But, you know, top potato, I think you're right. Like, we've seen specific players, like individuals, right? Like being literally just caught and thrown into another team real quick in North America. And we look at the difference between Europe and NA. Europe is very team heavy. They are very much about consistency with the roster and working through the problems. Not saying NA doesn't have those, but it is not as prevalent throughout the entirety of the scene because we have a much more deep pool of current pros and former pros dropping down from the CDL. So those variables matter in North America, just given the landscape. So we're always going to have teams changing, given the fact that roster changes happen at the Pro League, and Europe is still trying to get the recognition they deserve, which they absolutely should, because European Call of Duty, especially European Challengers, is better than it's ever been, and that region as a whole is freaking believable at this game. But let's get into this one. Let's focus on what we got in front of us. Trash Bros, Team Canada, 2-1 series lead, by the way. Team Canada going into Checkmate Hardpoint. They need one single game to move into the playoff bracket tomorrow. For Trash Bros, you're just trying to send it to a game 5.
Already very scrappy playing control, going back and forth. Team Canada do end up on top though. Mach looking to get behind enemy lines. He will find one, but suddenly the hunt begins and Royalty shuts him down fairly quickly. Ulysses get shut down by Exotic. I almost already, Sean, feel like I'm getting a replay of our first hardpoint in the series. Exotic is on a 3-0. Royalty is 2-0. Make that 4-4 Exotic. Nobody on the Trash Bros has been able to get any footing whatsoever.
And here's what I'll say. Usually P1's pretty contested. Then on the second set of rotations, it's much more lopsided. But at this moment, he got 30 points. It's been somewhat contested. You didn't give him a full 50 or 60, so that is the takeaway. But we go to NASA at this point, and, well, it's basically been all of Team Canada. Let's go ahead and rotate to P2. Out early, it's number 5, Royalty. He's ready and waiting inside New, and the only person in position to challenge is Ulysses, and he almost gets gone, but here comes the challenge to clean it up. Spawns are back there for Team Canada. First numbers inside, first bit of time there for Team Canada. This is a very good start into this game.
Tragic. This is just absolutely tragic. Ulysses tried to get on rotation. He was just a half a step too late, and all of Trash Bros once again put so much investment into the last hill. Team Canada now with a 50-point lead over Trash Bros as they are just, the kill feed is lighting up red. Royalty is 6-1 on a 3-speed. Exotic slowed down a little bit, 5-2. And not like he really needs to do anything, as the rest of his teammates are just beaming the pushes from Trash Bros. And now we have playing control. I mean, this is a massacre. We're not even 2 hills in.
Yeah, I'm not getting flashbacks of the war just yet, but if we get to another hill and this continues, I will start to scream. As right now, it's 79-3. Again, don't panic yet if you're Trash Bros. Zero reason to panic. You need to get through this third hard point. We talked about going into this game. The first 3 hills will decide the game. You need a full 60 here. Try to slow it down. Work through your kills. Focus, focus, focus. Communication and team shots are key. 1 round at a time, 1 hill at a time, whatever you want to call it. Let's get into it. Playing control for Exotic. He's now 9-3. No one's really torched streaks at this moment. Trying to cut down more as they rotate in. But on the outskirts, it should be Diamond Con. And Royalty picks up 1 before dropping. Now you look at Exotic on your screen. 10-3. Not anywhere near streaks, but continuing to go on a roll. 91-9, we keep going. And if Trash Bros can get in and contest and set up for New, which they are doing, they just need 1 hold and they're back in this game. But they need a hold relatively soon. We're going to be looking at P4 coming up. And that is the big hill to decide it all.
I mean, rotation-wise already, 2 players of Team Canada are in mid, getting the scrap time, 10 seconds left. They aren't going to be the first ones to touch it, though, as 3 members of Trash Bros are making their way over there. Why is Jintroid pushing on to Old with Ulysses, possibly trying to get plane control, but you need to get point control first. Finally, some kills going the way of Trash Bros, but somehow Royalty is still the first in the hill to get the first couple of seconds. He will get shut down, and finally, time looking like it might go to the way of Trash Bros, at least for now, as all of Team Canada are looking to push their way into plane.
You get a full 60 here, the game is still alive. Team Canada spawns so far out back at P2, and Jintroid is taking gunfights with the Diamatti towards mid plane, which is just ridiculous to talk about. Ulysses at 5 and 11 will drop. That's 2 more red in the kill feed. Team Canada now in the hill, as Mach will contest from the outskirts, quickly getting shut down. Hollow now trying his hand at things with the trophy down, so no nades will be in play. Utility out of the question. And a nice kill there with the trade. So they're back inside, 20 to go. You get to 50 points. Again, not a horrible spot to be in. You can work your way back in this game. Continue to contest, rotate early, set up for new, get spawns. That is the number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 strategy here for Checkmate Hardpoint. But at this moment, we're thinking about Tetris Hill, and we're thinking about rotating. Dad Patty's already out ready and waiting. If you're Trash Bros, you needed to hit this rotation a little bit sooner.
It wasn't a full 60, but it might have been just enough to get some momentum going to their side. Diamondcon is 8 and 11. He's having a bit of a slow start. If Trash Bros can possibly capitalize on this, maybe they can push their way back into this game. I mean, they have 50 points. That's 10 more than they had at the ending of our first hard point. And as a little bit of scrappies are going out, Exotic 17 and 7, looking for a little bit of a repeat here as he is gaining some objective time as well. Royalty already has a kill as well. I think that's an interesting stat line to bring up as we don't talk about objectives enough, I feel. Jintroid looking to make maybe a little bit of something happen here, but Exotic shuts that down fairly quickly as all this time is going to the side of Team Canada as they're going to break the 1 at 50 mark.
Again, I'm not pulling the panic alarm, but we're getting close to reaching up and grabbing, that part of the wire, right? Where we're getting close to it. And now you go back to P1. Plane control has to be huge. Usually we see teams take over at this point in the game inside P1. But Trash Bros need to contest. They cannot allow 30 seconds to go by for Team Canada like they did on the first set of hills. Dad Patty inside, working through the opposite side of the wing. And then very far back of the plane, Mach able to win his gunfight through the wall. Nice shots, and Hollow combines for 1 as well. So here come the trades, and Trash Bros now have some confidence inside as they work their way through. White in the kill feed, make that 3 kills in a row. Team Canada now have to regroup off spawn and try to hit 1 more time. 3 minutes still to play, 38 on the clock though. And we keep moving through. Diamondcon finding anything in the corner. He's able to find 1. And the second, not really. Mach's still alive. Just lay down contest. Best possible scenario with how things have been going. It's a 100-point lead, but I'm not counting Trash Bros out just yet. They're in a position to hold for P2, and with trades like this, it's going to make the job easier.
Team Canada just plays so well together as a team, as we just saw them wait for each other and wait for the perfect time to slide in and start challenging these gunfights and playing. And now time is going side of Trash Bros, but again, Team Canada 163 to 74, almost an 100-point game. But what is that? That's going to be Ulysses on P2. That's going to be Ulysses on the early rotation, finally. And Jintroid finds 2 off of the push from out P1 in Team Canada. This is what Trash Bros needed. They needed this money hill back in P2, and Ulysses was there for the grab. Team Canada, if they don't want to lose the lead that they have worked so hard to gain themselves, they need to get a break here now.
The hardest points to score are always the first, and sometimes when you're like a hitter facing a pitcher, the hardest hit to get is that first hit. Once you get that, everything else just comes naturally. And once they got that hold in plane for that second P1, the rotation came naturally, everything else is coming much more quickly, and we can see this Trash Bros roster begin to bring it back. If you're losing faith, you shouldn't anymore. They're bringing this game back. 15 seconds to go. We look at the rotation again. Bottom of your minimap, Mach. That's number 4. He is ready and waiting, trying to win a gunfight on the outskirts. It's Royalty who will be in front. If he takes down Royalty and or Exotic, this opens up not only cabin, but under the wing where he can set up on boxes and basically spray down the spawn of Team Canada. He gets 1. Now you need your subs in the plane to do their job, but Mach has to stay alive. Mach has to stay alive, and he can't. Exotic will win the gunfight, and Team Canada will reap the benefits.
Mach did as much as he could, taking on 2 players of Team Canada there off of rotation. Unfortunately, he just did not have the help from his teammates. Time once again going to the side of Team Canada. Trash Bros could easily flip it in their favor here to the 3. Never mind, now a 1v2. Time though not getting grabbed just yet. Exotic though looking to shut down players of Trash Bros. He's 26 and 13, looking to break 30 here soon as he's on a 4 spree. Shocking that he does not have streaks yet. Might start working for them here soon as all the players at Trash Bros are pushing onto the right side of the plane. Exotic's just able to make that pre-em, and he beats the Ulysses push from top. This is a lot of time going side of Team Canada as they look to break the 200-point mark.
Exotic really wants streaks, and I don't blame him, but does he get pushed from the back of the plane? Here comes player number 3. It's Ulysses. He's going to get it. That's a huge kill. It is 202 to 129, yes, but with how things have been swinging, Trash Bros, a hill and a half, you're back in it. And Diamond Contract shut down anyone running in for the initials. The entry is there from Team Canada. The shots to follow up will not be. Exotic works his way inside. 27-14, about to hit a 30 bomb. He's been lights out today, and with shots like that, it almost made it work. 2 more kills for Trash Bros. Here come the numbers for Team Canada. It's all chaos in the point all the time. Absolutely contested from both sides. Nades traded. But finally, Trash Bros walk away with some numbers. But here comes the spawn. Team Canada putting more numbers in front, more nades out. We'll see who holds on for the moment. You got to start rotating to P5 if you're both sides. Trash Bros need a clean rotation, and they need to win those fights.
Only 20 seconds left. Trash Bros need to worry about rotation because Team Canada could win it on the next point should they get a full 60. Lucky for them, though, they are committing a lot to this plane, but nobody from Trash Bros is taking advantage of that as Jintroid is just shutting down players in top plane. So that's going to allow Royalty to be the first to touch the next point. And unless they can push in the back past Dab Patty, which doesn't look like that's happening anytime soon, this could look like a game going to the side of Team Canada.
Yeah, if you pull him out of position, you swing around the back, you break open the hill. It's a 1-2-3 step. But Dab Patty, again, a lot like what Exotic needed. Dab Patty needs to stay alive. At this moment, so far so good for Diamondcon. Jintroid working to the back, can't get Dab Patty. Dab Patty will clean it up. That's 4 dead. 161 to 222. They're going to get inside the hard point with 30 seconds. You won't get a tie game here. You'll be down about 30 points. But we go back to P1, where Trash Bros were successful to flip spawns, hold time, set up for P2. At this moment, we need every single hard point to send this to a game 5. Canada holding on, but that 4-piece just makes this even more tense.
And that was so important for Trash Bros and for Mock to not make that challenge on the Diamondcon and just allow him to push towards him. That was a huge win. And now we go back to the scrappy hill in P1 onto plane. No members of Team Canada are able to get their way inside Trash Bros. In 20 seconds, they could tie up this game. It is all on the backs of Jintroid and Ulysses in the plane. I said they were going to need that control, and that's exactly what they're doing. Team Canada, they need to not panic here. They need to keep playing their games. They had such a comfortable lead. They just need to play together here. They've broken this once before. They'll do it again. Ulysses will fall. Trias will go inside of Team Canada. That's going to be 30 seconds on the clock. Contested for just a moment. It is just going to be Mock and Jintroid. Left on the other side. Exotic's going to get aggressive. He shuts down Jintroid. Teammates come through into the back. Number 3, that's going to be Ulysses coming from the wing side, but it looks like it's going to be inside Team Canada. 232 to 213. They're not going to be able to win it off this one. Number 7, Exotic. He's looking to get back for that rotation. Trash Bros, you have one good break here to save this hard point.
Spawns are in the back for Team Canada. It comes down to this P2. NASA Hill, here we go. Ulysses 22 and 28, trying to work his way through the back, but under the wing, it's Diamondcon again, playing spoiler. But Jintroid has escaped. Jintroid is snuck behind the back lines. He needs to stay alive. Can't win the gunfight. Dab Patty is there. 10 points needed. Team Canada on the brink of a playoff bracket tomorrow. You need a couple more kills. Everyone's spawning out for Trash Bros. No one in a position to contest. That will be it. Game 4 goes to Team Canada. The series 3-1, and with it, a playoff berth from the boys from the True North. It was a hectic one down the line. Trash Bros fought their hardest, but in the end, Team Canada's lead was too much to overcome, and they move into tomorrow.
The Trash Bros definitely showed a lot more life, though, in that hard point as they were almost able to bring it back. Definitely would give them some props, but unfortunately, it just was not enough. Team Canada stay alive, and we will be seeing them again tomorrow.
Wow, that was a whole series, man. That whole hard point, 100-point lead, 150 to like 30 again, and then Trash Bros bring it back one bit at a time. They're coming back in the game. They had a lot of nice early rotations holding the hills, but Team Canada's lead was a little bit too much near the end, right? Like, it was not an overbearing amount of slaying. Just Team Canada kept putting the lead on and then growing it slightly and slightly and slightly after every single hill. Fox, welcome back, brother. Talk to me about the series as you watched. What did you see in that game 4?
Now, game 4, Exotic, nearly 30 kills, over a minute and a half of hill time. Big part of the success for Team Canada right there for sure. On the opposite side, we kind of saw Mock falling behind Ulysses as well. and I just don't think it was enough. They were not able to keep up with the pace of Team Canada, but still, something to mention is just like you said, the resurgence that we saw from not just Team Canada, but also the competition in this series. It was well fought, but in the end, of course, Team Canada being the better team, they come out on top.
Yeah, it was certainly an impressive performance from Team Canada all the way through. But Ali, kind of looking at the resurgence from Trash Bros, again, not really the results they wanted. We know for all these teams who have been playing all year long and all these seasons, it's heartbreaking to lose this way. For players that won Season 4 to come in here and fall just short, I think there are takeaways looking at how that game 1 went, and look at how they rebounded in game 2, and the fact that they started this game 4, down by 150. Like, again, it could have been much worse. The fact that they brought it back shows that there is talent on this roster and that the core 4 can get the job done. They just need to practice a little bit more, continue working. Is there anything you kind of want to say about the Trash Bros team, the roster, the run they had, as we say goodbye to them before we move to the playoff bracket tomorrow?
I mean, personally, they could stay as a core, maybe work through some kinks, but we are coming to, the end of our Cold War season here in the Challengers Elite. So for them specifically, I don't think that they mesh together too well. I think individually they're all incredibly talented players, and their ceiling is incredibly high, but together, I just don't think they mesh incredibly well. But even having that fact out, the fact that they were able to hang on so much and have these bursts of, lights at the end of the tunnel, I think it's very important for each of these players to take away from the series today.
Absolutely. And speaking of things we can take away, let's look at the bracket, because we want to talk about the things we can take away. UYU versus Team Canada. Oh, my sweet Lord. That's going to be a fun matchup for the first semifinals match tomorrow. Lore Gaming and BBG. Parasite versus Kismet. Oh, my word. We got a stacked match tomorrow, man. Fox, look at this, brother. This is going to be a fun day tomorrow.
Absolutely. Like you said, seeing Lore Gaming and UYU potentially playing here is very exciting. Always love seeing Parasite competing for the top spots here in North America.
It's going to be an exciting day tomorrow. We can't wait to watch the action. We can't wait to get into it all. Ali, closing thoughts today before we send these viewers home and see you guys tomorrow.
Today, it's just been kind of a sifting day. I feel like we definitely sift, our top contendings for both regions, and we got a lot of exciting matches for tomorrow. I'm honest, I don't think I'm going to be able to sleep properly knowing that I'm going to be able to watch UYU.
Yeah, it's listen, I think this is the first time we're supposed to have UYU. We end up switching some of the schedules, but this is one of our first times we get to actually cast over UYU on main, so we're very excited for that. But again, we're excited for all the teams moving into tomorrow. Thank you to all the competitors who made this Season 5 possible. And congratulations to all the teams who move through to tomorrow. BBG, Lore Gaming, UYU, and Team Canada. All 4 of them will be competing for the rightful crown of Season 5 champions of North America. And we got some former veterans, some former world champions, and some heavy hitters going into the playoff bracket. You guys don't want to miss it. Same time tomorrow. We kick off with Europe. It's going to be exciting there. Will Elevate make the run? Will Orglis repeat? We don't know, but we'll find out tomorrow, and we'll see you all then. Make sure to tune in.